it up.
Have fun.
Chapter it up. But until then,
Yeah.
right now we're digging into the goods, and we're starting with the spooky. That was dope.
Planned that.
Yeah,
Totally planned
That's
it.
all we planned for this episode.
Yeah.
So the rest is just riffing.
So
What do we got, Jared? Let's
into
talk. I want to hear about paranormal. Dude, it's no sleep month.
I know the scary stuff's fun.
The scary stuff. Let's get into the scary, the spooky, the surreal.
Dude, so I've been
paranormal.
listening to these
Words.
kind of stories for years. I love these topics, this stuff. There's some great channels out there that dedicate themselves.
I was just
to
gonna
this.
say,
Yeah.
you guys are gonna love this episode,
Yeah.
and No Sleep Month specifically. If you like names such as Lazy Masquerade, Bee Busta, Mr. Ballin, Top 15s,
Yeah.
Chills, and our boy.
You're talking about all the scary stuff. Yeah.
All the scares.
Yeah. There's a lot of good channels out there.
Some great ones.
But today we're specifically going to talk about military encounters with the paranormal.
Let's go.
So there's stories out there that, when you're in the military, you can't really tell these stories or report these stories to the higher ups for fear of being fired. Or sent off for psych evals.
Oh,
or
yeah,
they
they're
say that
insane.
you're,
Yeah.
or it could be war fatigue, aka PTSD, and it'll just get you sent right home.
Yeah.
So they find these ways to share these stories in secret with each other when they come across something extremely strange, and you start to find out when you have an encounter and you start asking around that all of the soldiers are having these encounters, and they're not rare. They're just not spoken about aloud. And then a lot of people come to the internet to share their stories either anonymously or they will give their names if they are discharged, right? Okay. I don't want to share too many names today. I'm just going to tell the stories and just know that all of these are credible sources, and the people that told these stories said that they happened exactly the way I'm going to tell them today. So that's important. But like I said, just for anonymity's sake, I'm not going to mention actual names if I don't have to.
Yeah, as people would say in the comments, my sources trust me, bro. Oh my God, you're so annoying, dude. Like when we'll talk about like some
Yeah, and then those
subject.
stories will show up on the news a couple weeks later.
Dude,
and
that
it's like,
just
come on.
happened.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the audience about that real quick?
Yeah, before we jump in. So yeah, we did a story a couple weeks ago about how
it was episode 100 where we tied everything. Wait, was that the
No,
episode?
it was before
Oh, no,
that.
It was right
Yeah,
before that.
it was even
It was
before
when
that.
we were tying everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was still sowing the seeds.
Yeah, I was talking about Göbekli Tepe specifically.
Yeah.
It's the oldest megalithic structure we've ever found. It dates to 12,000 years ago, over 12,000 years old.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how it was interesting that the World Economic Forum had basically bought the rights to excavate Göbekli Tepe. They run all operations there. They decide what gets done and when. And they've decided to not excavate at all any further, even though there's about 11 other structures they've seen with LiDAR that need to be excavated in the area. They've decided to not excavate.
And
they're
turn
going to leave
into
it.
a gift shop, basically.
Yeah, they're just going to leave it to future generations, they said. And they're going to even plant, we found out, these trees that are illegal to dig up all around the area. So they're going to make it even more impossible
So you can't excavate
this place. So they're keeping whatever's there buried. They're keeping it buried. And this story had hit the internet, and there's a viral post about it on X, and now people are starting to talk about this.
Yeah.
But we had talked about it a month ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, and all the comments. What? This is crazy. What is this?
Yeah.
How do you know this or that, the other?
Yeah.
And it all is verified. I gave them all the sources. Even the local newspaper in Turkey reported on this. Like, I use real sources. I go out there and I really try to find the best information for all this stuff. So just know that. And if you have questions, put them in the comments. Whatever you want to say what you want to say.
Yeah.
We love to hear from you. Yeah. So yeah, let's start out in.
But anyway, so we had a video that explained all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then a giant article came out.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh my God, what's this new information
Why
I've
is
never
no
heard
one
before?"
talking about
Yeah,
this?
why is no one?
I think it's the title of it.
Yeah, raising our hands. Hey, I think we did.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for months. But anyway, so
Yeah.
no sleep on, dude.
So jumping into
All right, let's go.
paranormal military encounters, I want to start in Iraq. So we had a long war in Iraq. Our soldiers had been over there for a couple decades fighting, right?
Yeah.
And they came back saying that land is cursed. the things that those guys saw over there, it answers the question of what scares a soldier more than actual mortal combat and the threat of a battle every day, every night that you're in a foreign land. What could scare a soldier more than that are these experiences. Yeah. And when they come home, the stories they tell aren't the battle stories, it's these stories, because these are the things that stuck with them even more. These are the things that horrified them more than actual combat. So starting in Iraq, I found a really scary, interesting story.
Let's go, boy.
So there's a convoy of trucks headed back to base. And this is a normal activity for these guys after they do their rounds. This whole convoy lines up and they head back to base. And this base is in sort of an urban area next to some houses, like in Iraq, so next to some housing areas where there's these walls and these shrubs that run along the walls. As the trucks pull in, the very back truck has to work security for all of the other trucks as they pull in and park. Right? Yeah. So the guy in the back truck is sitting up there. He's got his rifle and he's facing outwards and he's looking for threats as all of the trucks pull into base.
Sure.
And as he's scrolling around, he has his night vision goggles on. So let's show this picture, kind of give you an idea. Not that one. It'd be higher up.
Yeah. I was going to just do it while you were talking.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, while I'm talking, you can show him.
Yeah.
So he's scanning and he's scanning this urban area, and they all got their night vision goggles on, and he's looking for threats with his rifle. And then he sees a child standing alone just in the middle of the street there, towards the shrubbery. And yeah, he sees the outline of this child, and he's looking at him. He notices there's something weird about this kid. He has this white glow around him. And he's not dressed like the other kids are. Like his clothes don't seem as war torn or it wasn't the usual.
He looked out of place.
Garb. Yeah. There was something different about him. And so as he's staring,
and he had
at
a white glow.
He's glowing white. He's looking at this white glow. So he has him with his night vision goggles or his NVGs, and he decides maybe the glow is something to do with the goggles. So he picks up the goggles and he looks, and we have a picture as he picks up his goggles. He looks out and the kid's not there.
Oh, dude, no thanks.
So then he's
nope.
So if the kid's not there with the goggles off, he puts the goggles back on to look at the kid again. And now the kid, go back down.
Oh, shit.
Now the kid's looking at him. Ah! And so now we know that the kid is only visible through night vision goggles.
Yeah.
He has this white aura around him, and now he's staring at him. And he said, in that moment of fear, he, unsafetied his weapon because now he doesn't know what he's looking at.
He's about to shoot this.
Right. And unfortunately over there, sometimes kids could become combatants but he's not sure what's happening yet. He just knows that something's off because he can't see him without night vision.
That's so scary.
And then the kid smiles at him. And as he smiles, his face turns and contorts. And he ends up having this weird, creepy face that isn't all put together. So he starts to compress the trigger. He's thinking to himself, I might have to shoot whatever this is. And he said it was as if the thing could read his thoughts, because as soon as he thought that, it started running at him. And then as it's running at him, one of the trucks pulling in, the headlights passed by his NVGs, which blind him for a second. And after that, the kid's gone. Not running at him, not there. He looks around. The kid just disappears.
So for that second, while the headlights were in his face,
it blinds him because he's wearing the goggles.
And then
there's no one there.
Gone.
Yeah.
So was that nonsense? Is he just a crazy person?
No. So
there's no way that that could all happen just in his head. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You go and you see an outline, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then you take off your goggles and he's not there.
Yep.
You put him back on and he's freaking staring at you.
Yeah. So to give you an idea, this
and then he
type
smiles
of
and his freaking face contorts.
So yeah, this type of encounter was extremely common, where the only time that they could see certain things out there were with their night vision goggles. They would see what they thought were people, but they'd be all shadow.
Yeah.
And with the NVGs off, there's nothing there.
Dude,
NVGs on, they're there.
That speaks to the like fourth dimensional stuff, where it's like, like through the spectrums that we're able to perceive,
we're filtering out
these.
So there could be something standing in the room with you right now.
I'm not here though, please.
But you can, with that, because of how we filter, how our brain filters certain spectrums of light, we aren't able to see them. But
Yeah.
there could be, and that speaks to the UFO encounters. Until we turned
sure.
on these sensors
Sure.
that one day, we didn't know that there were all these things just sitting there, just floating around for days on end and never refueling. All of these UFO, and then once we turn the sensors on, we see that they're there. Now we know they've probably always been there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that we're filtering out that are part of our reality. We just can't see them.
We just can't receive them. Yeah.
And so I don't have pictures for this next story, but right in line with this kind of encounter, there was a group of Humvees in a convoy heading out. And the folks on when you're in these convoys in the Hummers, the front car is kind of your lead car, and whatever they do, you follow. Yeah. Well, as they're going along this road, they're all alone in the middle of nowhere, and the lead car slams on its brakes. So all of the Hummers slam on their brakes. Sure. And you hear, they go, "What? Hey, what's going on up there?" And the guy at the front, the lead Humvee, he says, "We just had something fly past the window."
Fly.
He goes, then they're like, "Fly past the window?" And he goes, "Look up." And they look up, and he goes, "Use your NVGs, use your night vision goggles." And there is something flying above them with wings. Yeah. It looks like a person's body with wings, pretty much. But it's covered in this smoke. The smoke is coming out of it. And it prevents them from being able to make out any discernible features.
Jeepers creepers, dude.
Because there's this smoke bellowing out of it. Yeah. And it's just up there. And then it makes like a shrieking noise that they can all hear. And everyone with NVGs can see. And then out of nowhere, it just flies off. And that's it. One of the local translators told them, "Oh, you saw a flying djinn." That's common.
That's all, yeah.
No, we have to deal with those out here all the time. Yeah.
Dude, I swear, like, the amount of stories I've heard, Iraq, that place, Afghanistan. Like, these places are scary.
What that place is. It's where all
it's
human
dude.
civilization began.
It's ancient.
It is,
It's like, it's not new. No, let's go even more contemporary. It's Las Vegas.
Right.
Bro, if the Stardust, knock it down.
Yeah.
Like anything, as soon as it gets over 5 years old.
Iraq is Sumer. That's where the Sumerian civilization
insane,
was.
Dude. Yeah, think
the
about
oldest
that.
civilization we know about.
Think about that.
It's amazing.
What is it? What's that nation that almost took over the entire world?
Germany?
No, way back. 300.
Persia.
Persians.
Yeah.
Iran, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's
it's
the beginning
so
of
insane.
civilization. Yeah.
Chase said, I've heard different. He said, I've heard different stories. That was for Felicity, if she's watching. I heard different stories of soldiers seeing things in their night vision goggles. And that was before you told the second story.
Yeah.
That'd mess up soldiers' focus real bad.
Yeah.
Dude, could you imagine?
Yeah.
And you got to keep your wits about you. You have this whole like we're here on a mission. We got to go break into this dude's whatever and disarm.
Dude,
who knows?
And
you're seeing flying gin and shit. Dude.
You want to hear some even sicker stuff? When these guys were out there, sometimes they would see these shadows in the distance, and they would never get close enough to become a true threat. Due to rules of engagement, you can't just shoot things, right? Unless they're actually firing at you. Yeah. So they would have their guns on these things. And there's one story where a guy, just to do it, he lit up his laser on one of these shadow people, and when the laser hit it, it disappeared. That's is something you can't see. This is a light that he couldn't see, right? Yeah. But when it touched the shadow person, it disappeared.
It knew somehow?
Somehow, yeah. It just, and gone. So as soon as this infrared light hits it, it's gone.
That's
Bye.
such a trip.
What?
So you know what's crazy? I heard this on maybe like a Sean Ryan clip or something. So someone that was on Sean Ryan, I think. They say first, like for snipers, like rules of engagement.
Yeah.
For the American troops, first they would have to say they're fighting ISIS or the Taliban, right? They had to first shine their laser on them, and they did have like red dots, so the person would be able to see.
Yes.
And that was like the warning, the first warning.
Yeah.
Then you would do fire near them as like a secondary warning.
You got to do warning shots.
There was multiple warnings until, and these people, you'd have to do that, and then hopefully they would, turn coat and run.
Stop.
Just like, peace, fuck this, and or put their gun down, whatever. And so that's what they're supposed to do. And then if not, then they still are trying to attack
you had to
or whatever.
allow them to shoot at you. You'd
and
hear
then you
bullets whizzing over your head. You had to follow these rules.
And then so if it was Sean Ryan, whoever the host was, asked, they said, so how many times did the people turn and run? And he's like, out of the hundreds and hundreds, maybe
Yeah.
2, maybe 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone else saw the red dot.
Oh yeah,
Heard the warning shots, and we're still like, oh, I'm gonna get you.
dude. Yeah, the stories of the non-paranormal stories of war over there.
Oh, it's just horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's all guerrilla warfare.
But-
so imagine, they're
yeah.
waiting for us. They're just
Yeah.
they have these towns all set up
And
with
they
tunnels
know the
and
shit like
holes
the
and,
back of their hand.
Yeah,
and it's foreign as hell.
Oh
to
yeah.
us. Yeah.
They have holes in the walls so they can run through buildings from room to room inside of these buildings to get away and to get from here to there. All guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
It's wild stuff. That what they found. Yeah, and the tunnel systems they would find.
Dude, that's why
Yeah.
these paranormal stories are horrifying.
Yeah, these are the things that stuck with them.
Because check this out. I was watching some scary. I haven't watched scary videos in a long time, but for No Sleep Month, I wanted to be like, you know what? Let's get back into the
Get in the mood.
Get in the mood. So I
Yeah.
started watching scary stories again for the first time. And dude, I can't tell you how long I got that feeling where like you're like, is there something behind me? Like you have to check.
Yeah.
Dude, I got that like scared
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
the worst. And I'm like, I need to go outside. Like I just need to like get some fresh air, dude. This is just freaking me out.
Yeah.
I literally like got so scared. And I'm like, what is this? I'm like, and I was saying, I'm like, you're such a bitch. Like,
No, dude. Well,
why is this happening?
this stuff is
you
real.
know you're fine. Yeah.
This so sometimes when you're, dude, if you're in that mindset and
Oh, yeah.
you're, you got your adrenaline pumping
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
your brain is in a
I
different.
was just waiting for a
space.
hand to grab me or
Yeah,
like
you might be
scratch my
picking up
back. I'm like,
something.
ah.
Maybe you're picking up on something that's actually there. Maybe
Yeah.
because you're thinking about it, your brain's like wiring itself to look out for these types of threats or to try and maybe not filter
The
out
stuff you're
some of that
filtering out.
stuff.
Yeah. Now that you're focused on it, you're not
Yeah.
filtering it out. And then you see your fucking cabinets opening and closing.
Oh, there's so many times where I'd be like, because we have hauntings and stuff. And I've talked about on the show weird
Yeah.
things. I've heard voices and some mimicking my fiance's voice when she's laying next to me asleep from another room. And weird stuff like that. But there's been times where I'd be putting my son to bed. I'm holding him, he's sleeping in my arms, about to put him in his crib.
Good night, Dad.
And he has his door cracked while I'm rocking him to sleep, and we'd be in the pitch black darkness.
Yeah.
And I could swear I feel somebody staring at me through that crack in the door. And I'm not even thinking about that stuff. I'm just
Yeah.
rocking down. I'm in a good mood. Everything's
Yeah.
nice. Everything's fine. And then I get that weird feeling like I'm being stared at through that crack in the door.
Yeah.
And then it feels like a dark feeling,
yeah.
like something bad, like a predator.
Yeah. What is
yeah.
that sixth sense? Because not only does
Yeah.
that happen with like the door crack or whatever. If you're out in public, you're
Yeah.
like you could turn and look at exactly who's like you're like
Yeah,
someone
you
over here
can
is
feel
staring
it.
at me. Yeah.
That's consciousness.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy. If
I
we
think
are
that's
all in fact
consciousness.
connected,
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense.
I think the antennas can pick up on these things. Yeah.
If we are all antennas,
Yeah.
so to speak, right? It would
We
stand to
are.
reason that we'd be able to pick up on each other's signals. Why not? Right?
Yep.
Because we're antennas and we're also
Input and
giving us
output for sure.
Output. Yeah.
And if you ever been around somebody who's passed, you can tell that they're not connected anymore, right?
Oh yeah.
It's gone.
There's a palpable energy that is missing.
That is gone. Yeah. So whatever is connecting them to you and everything else, that connection's severed.
Yeah. And you've heard people say like it's crazy to see him lying there because he was so lively and he was always so energetic.
Yeah.
And that's what they're talking about. Is
Right.
That energy is
And you
gone.
can paint them up to look as alive as you want,
Yeah.
but there's something missing now.
100%.
You can tell they've become an object.
They can
like
have
a
skin
piece
that's
of wood.
Yeah, it's flush. It looks like they're alive. It's not all white and fucking
No,
You can make them. You can paint them up like you said.
Yeah.
But dude, like
The connection.
something's up. Yeah, this isn't it. And that's so trippy.
So continuing with some military paranormal encounters, I want to take us over to California to Edwards Air Force Base.
Oh,
I
I
have
love
a picture
Eddies.
of Edwards.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy stories about Edwards Air Force Base. Not too far from Area 51. Edwards is a place where they would test a lot of emerging technologies in
Yeah.
aerospace, a lot of secret projects,
Oh,
stealth
yeah.
programs, and a lot even
They build it in Area 51 and they bring it out.
Test
it at Edwards.
Edwards has its own Area 51-esque type feel to it as far as like the deep black SAPs that go on there.
SAPs.
The special access programs. Okay. Sorry.
Special access programs, perhaps.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it. You got it. You nailed
Ding,
it.
ding.
So I'm going to go to the winter of 74 at Edwards. There's a security patrol out there. And in our next picture, kind of give you an idea, if you look at that, it's just pure desert all around this, right? They don't want people seeing what they're doing. So it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the desert. So they send out these security patrols on the perimeter to check and make sure that there's no unauthorized viewing or access, just like they would do at Area 51. So imagine it's just vast desert all around you.
That's all. Yeah.
And you're doing a security patrol. And then all of a sudden you notice off in the distance these two bright blue lights. And they look like the headlights of a car, probably an unauthorized vehicle out there, right? So he sees these two big bright blue lights, and he's like,
enemy truck or something, maybe.
or
Who knows?
just even a civilian. They're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
They're too close to the base
in this vast desert. Yeah.
So I got to get out there and I got to figure out what this is. So he pulls up his binoculars and looks at the lights, assuming it's going to be a truck, but it's not. They're eyes. They're eyes that are glowing so brightly blue, he mistook them for headlights, and they belonged to an animal. And what made this especially creepy is they were about 8 feet off the ground. And the animal they belonged to was standing on 2 legs, about 8 feet tall.
Yeah, just
and
do
it
that
was
when you want me to scroll.
massive.
Yeah.
Just give me an idea. Okay, I'll let you know. Yeah. So he calls up for backup, and he has another patrol come out there to meet him, and he drives his truck up to where this thing is.
Yeah.
And he has an idea of what it could be, because back home, where he's from, they had something similar to this. So he thinks he knows what it is.
What?
And so he drives up there, calls out another patrol, and he leaves his truck behind, and he walks down the hill to meet the other patrol. And he says, I think we have something around the perimeter here, a large creature of some kind.
Yeah.
And they ask, what do you think it is? He goes, I think it's a Sasquatch.
What?
And they're like, what? He goes, we had him back home. He's like, we used to shoot at him sometimes. He's like, they keep their distance, but I'm pretty sure it's a Sasquatch. And they think he's kidding with them.
Yeah.
So they walk up back to where the car is, where he left his truck. And so this sergeant that called them up there shows them all around his truck where he left it are these huge footprints, 14-inch long footprints, right? These massive, and that's all around the truck, as if it was looking around the truck and kind of examining
Investigating
it. And then they go off into the distance, into the desert, and they're gone. So whatever it was massive, and it was bipedal, as they could see in the tracks. It investigated the truck when he left, and then took off and hid, right?
Yeah.
So that's weird. So they ask him, why do you think it's a Bigfoot? He said, Sasquatch. He says, well, this isn't the only time this has happened. He's like, this happens actually all the time. And he tells them about another story where 2 other soldiers that he knows about had actually seen these Sasquatch coming out at night all the time. And it was just a known thing around the base. Now, they didn't want to talk about it because they didn't want to sound silly. But he said that even the officers that you would report something like this to knew these things were there. And that one night, these guys had him on night vision. So we have a picture. So inside their night vision scopes, they see a Bigfoot just standing there in the middle of the desert, right? So they've got eyes on this thing, and it's multiple patrol officers, and they see it, and they want to get up close and personal with it. Yeah. So they call in a helo to come hover and spotlight this thing, so that now they could just say, "Hey, look, we know for sure what these are." And the helo starts coming in fast, and the Bigfoot's just sitting there,
chilling.
Yeah, doesn't care.
Posted up.
And then he hears the helo coming, and as soon as the helo gets just close enough to where it could probably light it up, it takes off. And it says it moves at a speed so fast that the helo couldn't keep up with it. And it ducked behind these rocks, and the helo radios back.
The helicopter couldn't keep up with this.
Sorry, guys, we can't find it.
Bipedal running animal.
We're looking exactly where you told us it went. There's nothing here. We can't find it. And so stories around Edwards start circulating for decades that they have them on video. And what's even stranger, so they have proof of it. They ask him, why haven't you told the public or released it? They said, well, because we don't want people Sasquatch hunting here. What we're doing here, we can't afford to have civilians coming up here trying to find Bigfoots. But they're here, and they've been here a long time. And we think they stay here.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
They think that they stay here because they know we're not going to
do anything
about it. We don't hurt them.
We're safe here. Yeah,
exactly. We're not a threat, and we don't tell anybody that they're there because we don't want anyone showing up to the base. They even went as far as to say they thought these things knew that because they were doing something secret, that they were hiding there to keep themselves secret.
Bigfoot's there, and he's like, honey, I was thinking, what if we went to Edwards?
Right.
What do you mean, sweetie? Edwards? Edwards, the Air Force Base.
It's isolated.
Yeah, it's isolated. Yeah. They're not going to shoot us. They don't want Sasquatch hunters around there.
Yeah.
So let's just post up.
No, we don't want front page coverage here,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And if they're not going to hurt us, and they're not going to tell anyone of our existence, then we're good. The officer said they even have videos of them in their underground tunnel systems that they shouldn't even have access to, but they have them on video going through their underground tunnel systems.
Let's see these goddamn videos.
Isn't that wild? But they don't want to release them because they don't want people.
They just tell us about them. Yeah. Teasing sons
just
of
the guys
bees.
that work there that were willing to come forward and talk about it. But it's dozens.
Sneak out some footage, bro.
Right? I mean, it's so hard to do so. But that's treason. You can't sneak out, classify. They classified all the videos of these things because they don't want this rumor getting out there. They don't want people going snooping around Edwards.
Yeah.
So there's other bases, isolated Air Force bases, where there's sightings of Bigfoot all the time. And it's just become a normal part of working at these bases. And they truly believe that they stay there because of the secrecy.
They know that they're safe there.
They're safe.
That's ridiculous.
Some people think it's because the UFO reverse engineering programs also take place there. And we have a picture of kind of what those look like. When they worked on some of these, this is the stupid Aero car. But just to give you an idea, there is reverse engineering programs that are said to have taken place at Edwards, or that might still be taking place at Edwards Air Force Base, and that some connection between Bigfoot and UFOs exists, that there is some connection there, that they might know that they're near this technology that
Bigfoots are the ones that created them.
They have some, there's some unspoken, because maybe it's a psychic thing. We don't really know. Like maybe they're because they don't use language the way we do, like how other animals communicate almost psychically. Maybe they have this psychic ability that they've adapted.
Oh, you're saying how
evolution.
Bigfoots would, big feet, plural Bigfoot, would communicate with each other?
Yeah, they might have an enhanced psychic ability. They're so elusive. They say at Edwards that they're not rare. They're just very elusive. They know exactly where to hide.
And they can fucking run with
they're extremely fast.
Brother. What the hell?
They know how to sit in a specific place where their hair perfectly blends into the environment that they're near to hide themselves. They're just good at hiding, and they're playful
Metal
and
Gear
curious.
Solid, boy.
They like watching them do firing range activities.
You know what'd be a sick video game? You play as the SAS, boy.
And you hide?
And you hide. And you gotta it's sort of like Metal Gear Solid Guns of the Patriots, where you use the octacamo.
Yeah. Well, they're able to keep themselves secret for a long time.
And then if they see you and military guys start shooting at you, you run like hella fast, like in the Hulk game or something, That'd be sick, dude.
Yeah, well,
the SAS game,
that's
baby.
a game. But
Hey, Rockstar, develop it.
Yeah.
The SAS.
I think people would play that.
Yeah, and say thanks TPTNS for the genius idea. But remember when we came up with Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah. Well, I think we've come up with some pretty cool ideas that have come to fruition. I did want to tangentially tell a really cool military story. This isn't a paranormal story, but it's just so much fun.
Tangent away, baby.
So in World War II, the Allied forces in Britain, they needed a way to get their people in and out of hot spots real quick, right? And a lot of times it was when they would capture an enemy German soldier, they needed to get these guys into a safe house where they can interrogate them.
They called it Project
Skyhawk.
Skyhawk.
Yeah. But they needed.
You knew where I was going.
So with the whole continent in war, in this big world war, obviously something like race car driving was on hold. So, who would be a great person to hire to get people in and out of hot spots?
Race car drivers, boy.
Race car drivers. So
they're currently unemployed.
So they hire this guy. I got a picture of him. His name is St. John Horsfall. And he's famous for driving an Aston Martin. And so in World War II,
that's some badass.
This famous race car driver, they called him Jock was his nickname, John Horsfall, would drive an Aston Martin in and out of war
Saint
zones from
John?
behind enemy lines and get these captured enemies from point A to point B. So how cool is that? This guy
that's
is
so
like the real life
gangster.
James Bond.
Yeah, legit.
Dude, imagine you just get down, like if you Dale Earnhardt, Jr. sits in the car, you get in the car with him as a soldier, and he's your getaway driver.
Get in.
Yeah,
It's
in
like,
an Aston.
Dale? Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's dope. You know what's sick? In the movie Jack Reacher, remember that sick car chase? with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Remember, and if you don't, it's fine. Do you remember though in the car chase when he goes and he's driving and like spins out and hits those buckets of water?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the car like stalls.
Yes.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to go that far. He was supposed to just slide.
Yeah.
And then drive forward, but he just slid too far
And hit all the tanks.
And so he stays in like character and resets the car. And
It
goes,
looks way more realistic that way.
That's why
Yeah.
Christopher McQuarrie kept
love
it
they
in
kept it
because
in.
it looks realistic. And if
There's
you
so many
watch it
cool
back,
moments like that.
dude, if you watch it back,
Yeah.
you could actually see he like looks at the camera for like a quarter of a second,
Yeah.
and then realizes, no, let's keep
let's
going.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
'Cause
cool.
he's like, no, fuck it, yeah.
Dude, the
it's
fact
so
that
sick.
he's driving is insane.
Oh, he's
That's
a talented
insane.
son of a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody does that.
Yeah.
It's always a stunt driver.
Dude,
He's driving.
no,
That's
the,
crazy.
the things that are in movies
Yeah.
that you had no idea were like improvised are the greatest.
Yeah.
They're some of the greatest things. Even the Spider-Man in Civil War, he's like, I'm gonna sit here, so move the leg.
Yeah.
Genius.
Those
Did
little
you
moments
know
make the
maybe
films.
the greatest? What is the funniest line in Avengers by a country mile?
That guy's playing Galaga.
That's
a good
funny.
one. Yeah.
And that's improvised. I'll do you one better. Another RDJ quote that he came up with that I don't know if you know this. This was improvised. What are we doing? Shakespeare in the Park?
Oh,
Doth
yeah.
mother know you weareth her drapes?
That's such a good
fucking
line.
improvised.
Of course. That's so
his,
him.
That's his
him.
humor. But doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
It's genius. It's
you,
such a good
It's
line.
literally like genius.
He's brilliant.
You weareth her drapes?
Dude.
It's so funny.
When it comes to just being like off the cuff, he is brilliant.
Dude, there's so many.
And his vocabulary is perfect.
It's crazy. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
so good at
He's the best.
I love RDJ.
He's the man.
But so John Horsfall, this isn't the end of his story, right? So not only is he the coolest guy ever because he's a famous race car driver driving spies, MI6 spies, in and out of hot spots from behind enemy lines. He's part of one of the most famous
behind enemy
operations in World War II history, was his Operation Mincemeat. Have you heard of this?
Operation Mincemeat?
Yeah.
That's the worst name for an operation.
Well, check it out. So they were trying to come up with ways to fool the enemy, to fool the Germans, and they had a guy working for an admiral who would sit there and just come up with crazy ideas on how to fool the
That's a
enemy.
dope job.
right?
Yeah.
And guess what that guy's name was? Ian Fleming.
James Bond. Oh, fuck. That's so funny.
Isn't that funny?
James Bond.
Ian
Yeah.
Fleming, before he was a writer, he was writing these little spy ideas. So, of course,
Spy
he became
ideas.
a spy novelist.
Yeah.
So, one of the ideas he came up with was to drop a dead body of a soldier with fake confidential documents on him
Genius.
near the
Misinformation.
enemy,
Yeah.
not at the enemy's doorstep, but near like an ally of
So it would seem like
so they
it
get
was-
captured, and so the body gets found in the confidential. So they wanted to attack Sicily, and it was one of the best ways in.
Who did?
The Allied forces, right? But it was well fortified.
wanted to attack German soldiers.
Yes, they needed to
stationed
get
in
into Sicily in order because it was a weak point that could get the soldiers into where they needed to get to further up into the war zone. But it was so heavily fortified, so they needed the Germans to think that they were going to attack through Greece instead. So they come up with this idea.
All the forces are going to be north.
Yeah. So they look through all these different ideas and they find one of Ian Fleming's ideas is this fake body. They drop it to a fake
That's
plane
brilliant.
crash with this fake documents. So they have this whole thing where they have a guy
They have
pretending.
translators around the clock decoding it and shit.
Right, dude. So they put together a whole thing where he has love notes from a girlfriend that's not real, and our dancing with you the other night was so all this stuff in his briefcase that's connected to him, right? Because it's confidential. They give him a fake officer uniform, fake name. They even hold a funeral for this guy. But where John comes in, Horsfall, is the body was decaying rapidly. They needed to get his body from where it was put on ice,
refrigerated,
to get to Ireland fast enough to get it on a boat on a submarine where it would be dropped off near Spain. Spain was allied up, not officially, with the Germans, and they knew that if Spain got a hold of the body in the docks, they would pass him to the Germans. And
so they have to do that and drop the body off undetected.
Yeah, and it can't be and the body has to be in the perfect condition to match what could have happened to him.
2 months of decay, and they're like, well, this is crazy.
And the documents also they can't let the Germans can't if the Germans know that the British found the confidential documents, it doesn't work, right? So it has to be
because then they'd be like, why wouldn't they take the confidential
they know that this confidential it's blown, right? The whole operation's blown.
Yeah.
So what they did is they hid an eyelash inside of the sealed envelope where this confidential battle plan to attack Greece is. It's a fake battle plan.
Yeah.
And they knew that if the eyelash wasn't there, that the Germans had opened it and taken the note out and put it back and tried to reseal it, which is exactly what they did. So as long as they don't openly try and show that they had read it, it's still a go. They know that the Allied forces are going to
because if they see and it's wait, how did they retrieve the?
So they drop it off near Spain. The Spanish bring it in. They show the Germans, hey, this is an officer with some confidential stuff.
Yeah.
So the Germans go through the confidential documentation and then they put it back because the British ask, can we have his body? We want to bury him. He's an officer, and whatever items he might have had with him, it's important that we get those back.
Yeah.
Now they can't be like it's so important because that gives it away.
So they have to underplay it.
Exactly.
That's
they
funny.
need them to know they need those back.
They got to tiptoe around that conversation. You got to be.
So you have to let them know it's important without letting them know it's
fake,
exactly
or too important.
Isn't that wild? So they play this game, and Ian Fleming came up with the whole idea for this.
Yeah.
And so the Germans are like, okay, so we need to read this, put it back in without them knowing about it.
Yeah.
And that's how they know.
And the Germans are like,
that it's
we're so clever.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. So they knew as soon as they got the letter back, the eyelash was gone, that they read it, and they're like, we're good. So it went straight to Adolf himself. The confidential documents make it all the way to Adolf, who sends all of these forces to Greece, getting ready for this attack. And they came up through Sicily, and it was a successful mission. Instead of the expected number of losses was cut down probably to 20. The Allies. Okay. What they were guessing they would lose in this attack on Sicily, they lost maybe a quarter of that, maybe less, because it was such a successful operation. Yeah. And you had Aston Martin, John Horsfall, drive the body fast enough so it didn't decay.
And Ian Fleming's like, oh, I'm glad they used my idea. Oh, and Mr. Horsfall.
Isn't that cool?
Wait a minute.
So that's part of why James Bond drives the Aston Martin is based on John Horsfall, a real MI6 getaway driver during World War II. Isn't that amazing? I thought it was a cool war story.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah, dude. We've talked about James Bond before. We talked about remember we have that one episode about the recovered crafts and stuff. What was it? It was a reproduction vehicle.
So so I think the one you're thinking of is where we talked
we
about.
Literally have James Bond on the cover, with the.
Yeah, but
we took him off. But
it's changed. But I think it's called.
Now it's just the UFO.
Yeah, it's the
World War II.
It's like World War II UFO. Warfare or something like that. Yeah. It has a big flying saucer, World War II flying saucer right on the cover.
With an outline,
Yeah. So we talked about how they did these secret operations behind enemy lines where they were finding UFO technology in the hands of the Germans in their secret aerospace bunkers as the Allies were closing in on them. Yeah. So when they would find a base with something in it that was weird, they would send in this guy who was a scientist, and Townsend Brown, who ended up, his works seen in the
we know the Brown
technology
man.
And all kinds of stuff.
But dude, no sleep month, bro. Let's get back to the spooks, the scares,
so
and then we
back
got
to
a
the
new
scary
segment.
Stories.
And then we got my segment.
I wanted to talk about an interesting one. We just talked about World War II. Well, there were these soldiers that were doing routine. These are German soldiers. They were doing routine just maneuvers around an old trench site from World War I. World War I was trench warfare.
They're in planes?
No, just doing maneuvers or in vehicles. Driving around.
Okay.
And they come across these old trenches from World War I, where the Germans and Russians had fought each other. And I have a picture of the trenches. All of World War I was all of World War I was trench warfare. It was horrible. What a horrible war.
What war is not horrible?
Yeah, seriously. But this would have been exceptionally brutal. But so this gives you an idea. So they're stuck in trenches, and then there's these no man's lands in between the two different armies, and you try to cross, you get shot, and you would move an inch like every week, as you closed in because.
Dude, yeah, real quick, I just heard, speaking of World War II and all this stuff, I literally just heard this guy, a World War II veteran, which probably one of the last ones, man. He's talking about line of fire. And he's like, so what line of fire is we would be in the trench, and we knew the enemy was over there. We didn't know exactly where they were. So we would all stand up with our machine guns and just start firing. And that's what line of fire is. I'm like, no, line of fire is like line of fire. Like, don't get in my line of fire. It's like from your gun to the enemy.
Yeah.
Chase Mack coming in. What, boy?
Yeah. Look at big number 20.
Glad you guys are here tonight. Got you distract from the politics. Yes, that's why we stream. So good, fun stories. Some humor. Love y'all. Love you, buddy.
Thanks, Chase. But yeah.
You're the man. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that was, I'm like, that's cool that he's saying that. And he's like, and so, so usually the guys would just get all scared because of a bunch of machine guns and they'd run away or they'd hide or whatever. I'm like, but no, line of fire is line of fire.
Literally.
Like, don't get in my line of fire.
Right. It's
not a line of people firing guns.
No, yeah.
Maybe that's a term that you can
that's
use
funny.
for that
What
as
a
well.
Weird,
I know.
Way to think of that term.
It was on YouTube and it says like a WW2 veteran explaining what line of fire is. I'm like, but he's not, because that's
weird.
Not,
what if they had like maybe they called it that?
The term changed. That's what I was thinking. Maybe.
Weird.
I'm like, let's trust the World War II veteran.
Yeah, it's hard to say he's wrong, right?
I know,
Like maybe that's just another term they use.
He was there in a trench firing shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of other guys.
That's so weird.
So I'll take his word for that.
But we know that,
he's
if
also
you're
90.
in the line of fire, you're in front of a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of my line of sight, line of fire.
Right.
If I'm having a gun. It's, but he's also 90 something. He might be dementia up the wazoo, Dementia ridden.
Who knows? But thank you for your service.
God bless you.
And
thank you, Chase, for your service.
So they come by these trenches and they see there's still skeletons of dead German and Russian soldiers in these trenches, right?
Yeah, not so bad.
And as they're passing by, they decide they're going to set up camp just a few meters from where these trenches were, and they stay the night there, right, as they're continuing on. So this group of soldiers, in the middle of the night, they start hearing singing in German. They're hearing singing and laughing and all this, right? And they're like, where's this coming from? And then they get worried because now they're hearing a tank. They hear the unmistakable noise of a tank coming towards their direction with all of these Germans singing and laughing and yelling. And they're spread
like,
out.
Gear up, motherfuckers.
Right? What's going on? So they spread out and they start looking for the source of this, and they can't find any source for this sound, right? So they make it through the night hearing all this. The next morning, they go back to the trenches and they see that the bodies are undisturbed. The trenches are in the same condition as they saw them the day before. But strangely enough, there's tracks from a World War I tank freshly in the mud right near the trenches.
Oh, it's like ghost.
And I have a picture of an old World War I tank, a tank that would not be in use at this time. That probably they don't even have a working World War I German tank anywhere in the vicinity. Yeah. But somehow those tracks are freshly in the mud.
Those are unique tracks
from the night before. How freaking bizarre is that? So it's a ghost tank. It was with a ghost army of soldiers on it, singing as they were. So some sort of ghost army drove by them in the night, but left physical tracks on the ground.
So,
and that was an area they had searched that night.
Yeah, how does that make sense?
Something from the that's not
from
physical,
another realm, or that's not physical.
Left
leaves
physical tracks. Yeah. I don't know, man.
It doesn't make sense. How do you reconcile that?
That's super bizarre. I don't know, and I do want to talk about that. When we get to the end of these stories, I want to kind of try and figure out what is going on here.
Yeah.
But I thought it was an interesting story. Did you ever heard about the inflatable tanks during World War II?
That's insane. No. What is
so this? Genius.
Is
it?
It's
just brilliant. So the Allied forces, they wanted a way to fool German soldiers that were doing aerial reconnaissance.
This giant fucking
Yeah. So I have pictures of what they looked like. So Goodyear and other big rubber manufacturers started making inflatable tanks, and from the air they look like
legit.
tanks.
Yeah.
And look at them. You can see in these pictures the guys.
They're picking them up. Like they're nothing.
Filled with air. Can the audience can't see them? I don't think.
Oh, you're right. Good call.
So go up a little. Yeah, look at these are the
Dude,
inflatable
look at
tanks.
that.
So World War II. So we would place these hundreds of them in a row. So when they flew over, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, there's this huge force coming our way from." But really, the force was
Look at
coming
they're
from a
nothing.
different
Yeah,
direction.
they're weightless. Bro.
Yeah, they were weightless. They'd blow them up with air. Isn't that wild?
That's so smart.
It was just another
So,
smart little
yeah,
deceiving.
The Germans like, dude, these
They've got
they
500
are
tanks
stacked,
heading
baby.
our way.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah, so we got to bolster this area. And D-Day, famously, they use these to confuse the German troops on.
They
for
use these
D-Day,
instead. Oh,
for the D-Day invasion.
Yeah, that's why it
they
went like
planted
that.
these in a different area, and so it made the Germans think they were going to attack from this side, but instead they came through Normandy.
And they shoot, and they hear.
Yeah, they just deflate. How
Yeah.
funny, man.
That's
so
insane.
I just thought it was a genius idea.
Dude, speaking of World War II
Yeah.
tanks, how good is that movie Fury?
Shoot, man, I saw it when it came out. I haven't seen it since, so
Dude,
I
it's
have to
so
watch it
good.
again.
Well,
Yeah,
just you got to watch it again. But I'll just say some of the cast members.
yeah.
It's Brad Pitt,
yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, John Barenthal. What's
Oh,
his name?
dude, yeah, it's especially for military. Movie,
Michael
you got
Pena.
the-
Oh my God, it's great. Dude, it's so good. And then like just some of the
Have you seen
ancillary
Wolves?
characters.
That new Brad Pitt Clooney movie?
No,
Wolves?
no. It looks cool. It's not out yet, right?
It is. It's out.
Is it?
Yeah.
On what?
It's free. Apple TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not a movie. It's not in theaters, dude. It's amazing.
No, it's well. You have terrible taste.
Dude, it's It's them. How could it be bad? The two of them.
Yeah, like Burn After Reading is them and Coen Brothers, and it wasn't.
They're
like,
teamed
amazing.
up together. They don't want to be, but they have to team up together. They're
Yeah.
both fixers
yeah.
that have to work solo,
Yeah.
and now they have to work together, and they are the exact same.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
Well, I told you about.
It's
Remember, I told
brilliant.
you about it on the show. I
yeah,
told you about,
and dude,
Yeah.
go watch it. It is one of the best movies that's come out
when
in
he's
a long
like, "There's
time.
no one else like me," and
It's
then he
so
comes
funny.
in.
Yeah.
I'm one of a kind. There's no one else like me.
They don't
And
want to
they're
show
the
each
same
other their
person.
tricks or their
Yeah,
little
it's
things that
great.
they can do, and
Yeah.
And everyone thinks they're partners because they're so similar. They're always like, "Man, you guys must be friends for years. You must have been partner, for years." And and they hate that.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
it's genius. The writing's brilliant. Every shot is set up so perfectly. The
Is it
banter
Soderbergh? No.
brilliant. I can't remember who did it. But speaking of soldiers, I did have this. Because of super soldiers, it made me think of this Deadpool Wolverine theory that I had. So I want to talk
shit.
about that. But I have no more ghost stories. That's it for the ghost stories tonight. Let me know which ones you guys liked, and if you like this
All
kind
of
of
them.
stuff. If you want us to do more of this, please let us know. I could talk about these all day.
Oh, yeah,
There's
well, guys,
so many good ones.
I don't think we got the point across. It's no sleep month,
Oh,
mother
dude,
truckers.
it's going to be all scary episodes.
all
month,
scary
yeah.
all month.
Yeah.
That's it, baby.
Paranormal all month long.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if you do like this kind of stuff, stay tuned, baby. Yeah, I love No Sleep Month.
Cool.
And it starts on the 1st, so we have like a whole like month.
Full
to
month
get
of it.
through.
Yeah, it's going to
the
be
best.
good.
I'm
So
very
we should get
excited.
a full 4, right? Last
Yeah.
month. Yeah, last month we
Yeah.
got a full 4 in.
Which is
Yeah,
perfect.
so go check those out. Those are
Those are fun. Yeah,
old.
dude, yeah. Literally.
And they're fun. They're
Yeah.
fun.
We
We talked about ghosts,
the
ghouls,
Scream.
goblins.
Yeah, the Scream universe, the Conjureverse.
Yeah, the Conjureverse is a great episode.
That's a good one.
Tying it to all the real life incidents. The Screamverse, we tie it to all the real life what inspired the Scream movies, and then what the Scream movies inspired.
Yeah.
There's a flip side. To it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what inspired the Scream movies, and then the Scream movies inspired their own
Actual killers.
Killers.
So it's a true crime episode, if anything. Brilliant
yeah.
stuff. Not to toot our own horns, but
The Conjureverse
Brilliant.
is and great too, because we talk
Yeah.
about the Conjureverse movies, and then we talk about all the
the
real
actual
life
cases.
that were those movies are based on. Great episodes.
That's a fun
But
one.
and we got a lot more
Yeah.
goods to come this month. Chase said he's excited. He said, "Love the ghost stories. This is going to be a good Halloween, no sleep."
Oh,
month,
yeah.
baby."
So I thought it was cool to start with military horror stories.
So,
But
do you
yeah.
want to bust out this Marvel minute and then go into the news, or do you want to do the
let's
news?
do the news first.
Let's do the news. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
And then, and I do want to talk about what do we think is actually happening here with these. What is what is
Inexplicable,
this? What
my
is
friend.
what are these
Inexplicable.
paranormal experiences?
It's truly inexplicable.
How do you see a World War II sailor walk through a wall on your ship? Like, how is there tracks
Treads,
of a tank
yeah.
that doesn't exist anymore?
It doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
So how do you have you can hear the singing, you can hear the tank, and then you can't see it. They search.
It's
nothing,
not there physically,
but
yeah.
you can see the tracks in the morning. It doesn't make sense,
Dude.
It's
The ghosts you can only see with your night vision goggles, the shadow people that disappear with a laser pointer on them. Like, what the hell?
No, that first story with the kid was crazy.
That's one of my favorite stories.
Dude, I love that. But everybody, you know what time it is. It's everybody's favorite time. It's
The news. We're getting the satellite into position now. Man on the ground, are you there? Are you there, sir?
No, he's not. Sir, what's up?
He's
We're
been
back with the
replaced by
news.
AI.
It's been like 3 weeks or something.
Welcome back.
Hey, gentlemen,
freaking
so good to be
news.
back with you. You know,
Wow.
I've been doing a bit of traveling. There were some things going on around the world I had to get involved in.
That's true.
Yes, of
Glad
course.
to be
Well, there's a
back.
lot
Glad
going
to be
on
back.
out there.
I appreciate you stepping out of the vice
is.
presidential debates
The
to speak with us.
geopolitics. Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's meaningless. But hey, my pleasure.
It's meaningless. Yes.
By the way, good show. I'm looking forward to this whole month. This is going to be cool. I love these stories. I really do.
I know.
Good.
I really do.
Glad.
Yeah, we
You're
love these
part of
topics.
it.
It was scary as F, but why didn't you have a picture of his twisted face?
I
was
know.
hoping for that
I was
shot.
thinking too.
I would have to have
When he starts
created one,
smiling.
but I could have.
You
Yeah, I
created
guess so.
you created a bunch of
I
shit.
created all.
Ask Cameron
Yeah.
to do it. He could twist the face. He has the skills.
I
He's
twist
got the
faces
talent.
all day.
Yeah.
He's
That
a
would have been
pretty
cool.
good dexterity.
I thought he was scary with the black eyes and the look. I thought that was a
He
scary
was.
thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
white aura
no,
was cool.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just-
Because he went from just being a shadow
I get
kid
it.
to
And then he turned around.
looking
it was
at
all
him
great.
with dark
Yeah,
eyes.
And you even had him not in frame. It was
Right.
beautiful. It was
when
all
he
good
takes
stuff.
the goggles off.
I get it. It was
cool.
beautiful. Just yes, I
So
did
It sounds like you guys like having the pictures while I tell the story.
for sure.
Okay.
We do.
But I do wanna
It's
see
a matter of
the-
focus.
Yeah.
And
Have you
even
ever done a presentation? You got to entertain the folks.
I could you could if you told me, hey, will you animate the face? I could have made it.
Oh, that's cool.
You could have it morph and melt like
Now
a
I know.
candle. Oh,
Yes.
Cool.
Could have called the
cool.
Candle Face Boy. All right. So what are we
Candle face.
talking about for the news?
Yeah.
It's no sleep month, but it doesn't have to be related. What are we talking about here, Les?
well, you listen, it's kind of unusual, and like you gentlemen, I'm a bit unusual as well.
Yeah.
But something kind of stuck in my head from a story I heard last year, and I thought I would talk about a little bit.
Let's go.
Which is really, and I mean, it sounds kind of highbrow, but let's talk about the evolutionary origins and significance of drugs in our history.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Dude.
Now that sounds terrible.
I have
but
a
the thing that
story
really got me
regarding
was-
this too. Okay, go ahead.
I read a story. I don't know how long ago it was, and I followed up with it for this show this evening. But there's this movement in science where they believe that part of man's evolution to
Yeah.
awareness
Yeah.
and to who we are today was inspired by the ingestion of psychotropic substances.
The
yeah.
stoned ape theory, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have
What's
evidence.
that?
It's called the stoned ape theory. It posits that our evolutionary ancestors found like psilocybin and other mushrooms and psychedelics like that.
That are
and ate
massive
them.
jump
And
from
that's why,
apes
yeah,
to consciousness.
exactly.
Why have you people not talked about this? Why are you
We have.
embarrassing me? Let me talk about this. You
We
know
have.
all about it already.
Go
No,
for it.
it's okay, please.
Okay.
Tell us what you got.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this theory, and we have evidence that every major civilization in our ancient history all used psychotropic drugs
Yeah.
of some kind.
Well, let me
all
start
the way
by
back to the
saying
ancient
something you don't
Egyptians.
know. Every civilization in our history. No, I'm kidding.
That's funny.
Yeah. What?
but no, I mean, you say so. Archaeological records
Yeah.
indicate that there were psychotropic plants and drugs in ancient civilizations as far back as 200 million years ago.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah.
It's one of the oldest.
I know. As recently as 13,000 years ago, they found the inhabitants of Timor were, anyway, using drugs. 40,000 years ago, Aborigines, of course, using nicotine, not that big a deal. But the idea of using cocaine by Ecuadorians goes back 7,000 years.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
That's wild.
Really?
Okay, so those are psychotropic. Those are some drug stuff. There's nicotine
Yeah.
stuff. But going to the psychotropics, there's evidence that, early tribes, they did hunting, gathering, they identified the different plants, and one of them was psilocybin.
Yeah.
And most of the shaman that we've heard of in history, that whole inspiration of having those divine dreams and those death dreams and of those inspired by psilocybin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Insane.
huts where they would go in there, the
Yeah,
sweat
what
lodges.
is that called? Sweat lodges, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
walkabouts, and all these ancient cultures, all the shaman, all the medicine men, they would all use these for all types of healing purposes. And I have
Yep.
a story about one I'll tell.
And
at the
even
end.
I
getting
can't wait to hear it.
quote unquote demons out of people and stuff. Yeah. Oh man, it's
because they have
wild.
healing properties.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mental
Huge.
healing.
There are multiple studies. I read two of them, one by this Jose Manuel Rodriguez Arce and Michael James Winkelman, that suggest that these drugs, particularly the psychopharmacological ones,
Yeah.
have had direct effects on adaptation of the early human species.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So some of the things they do, and you guys know this, so they enhance
I
the
know.
ability to live in social cooperative communities, participate in collaborative activities, and share goals and intentions. So the idea is that back there, and I saw the greatest little bit today.
And it makes
was
Led
so funny.
Zeppelin sound so good, dude.
It was a caveman going for a job interview, and the three other cavemen were interviewing him.
Yeah.
And they asked him, he said, well, what do you do? He goes, I hunt. They go, we have a lot of hunters. What else do you do? He says, well, sometimes I gather.
Yeah.
That's good.
Anyway, come on. It was a great
That's
bit.
fun.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You probably have to
I like
see
it.
it. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's
You
good.
have to see it.
No, that's good stuff.
But they asked him how he saw himself 50 moons from now.
Oh, that's clever. See, I like that. That's good.
You see, and he saw himself hunting and maybe gathering.
Yeah. Definitely hunting. Maybe,
All right.
maybe even gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. You had to see it. I didn't deliver it.
No,
well.
I like it. No, I got
it's
it. I got
funny.
it. It's good. All right.
So the idea that psychotropics actually enhance human sociality, ability to work collectively,
Yeah.
to cooperate, to innovate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're thinking that maybe this step from this, Neanderthal to the creative was inspired by the local, plants.
Because you need to explain how our brains increased in this small period of time more than any other time in history. Like there's a specific time where just brain growth and just intelligence and consciousness, and self-awareness just all through the roof in this short amount of time.
It
And they're
definitely has something to do with consciousness, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what it does. Is it changes your consciousness? Like,
well, that's what separates us from literally every other
Yeah.
species. Is we have that self-awareness.
Yeah.
When a dog looks in the mirror, they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh, I should have done my hair," whatever.
Yeah.
We have self-awareness.
Yeah, there was a study by a guy named McKenna back in 1992
A guy
proposed
named
that
McKenna.
psilocybin McKenna, it stimulated visual acuity, sexual activity,
Let's go.
ecstatic and visionary experiences, and influenced homonyms from foraging, sensitive to community, to religious, as you were saying, Jared, and spiritual concerns.
yeah.
Psychedelics is what really drove the original shaman. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Made illegal in order to hurt the anti-war movement.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
only in
Well,
the 60s, right?
yeah,
It
well,
wasn't
yeah.
illegal before then.
It wasn't.
Think of like reefer madness.
Yeah.
That's so insane, dude.
It is insane.
Like you have alcohol versus marijuana, and we're not gonna.
Yeah.
There is no debate to be
You
had.
needed
really,
a way
but-
to lock these guys
Yeah,
out
that's
because
it,
they were
dude.
hurting
That's it.
the war
That's
effort in
it.
Vietnam.
And the brilliance of they're hurting the war effort. And so how do we demonize these peace and love people? Yeah, we make them out to seem like these drugs are.
And they were taking
they're taking
psychotropics
all
that
these
were
drugs,
causing
making them
peace.
crazy.
They were thinking about peace.
No, it makes them crazy and makes them tear each
Togetherness.
other's eyes out.
Yeah, they were finding out what their true purpose was, and how we're all the same, and that
If
we
you-
should make love, not war. and
Absolutely. If
it
you've ever
opened
done
them up to that.
psilocybin, the last thing on your mind is violence,
Right.
or pain, or causing pain,
Yeah.
or all you want to do is feel good, have other people feel good.
Yeah.
How can I make
Be one with the
myself
universe.
or this person,
Right.
be content and happy? Like that's it. That's all you're thinking
100.
about.
There was a work by a guy named Michael James Winkelman exactly about the roles of shamanism and eco-psychology. And the idea was that psychedelics stimulated ancient brain structures and neat modular thought modules, especially as just self-awareness, other awareness, mind reading, visual intelligence, all brought on by the drugs. So these
And I'll
awakening
tell
these
you what,
effects in our brains.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing more beautiful or amazing because you could take psilocybin and watch a movie and it's cool. You watch the tree scene, the trees, the Ents fighting in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's
Trust me,
fun.
I've seen it on psilocybin. It's
yeah.
fantastic. But there's nothing like nature. When you go out, dude, there was a flower. I'm not, maybe not me, but someone told me they were doing psilocybin and they saw a flower and it was just waving in the wind. But because they were on the psychotropic, it looked like it was spinning like a spin wheel. It was the most amazing, beautiful thing ever.
Oh yeah.
So I was told, and it literally makes you want to.
It does.
You want
bring
to plant
closer
trees.
to nature. Yeah.
It brings you closer to nature. Was my point.
Closer to the earth. Yeah.
So it's the least harmful thing, and
Right.
it's so funny that it's been demonized.
And yeah, all of these tribes that lived in harmony with the earth, they were all using these substances when they were old enough to find their true purpose in life.
It really does.
You hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
These are death and rebirth experiences.
Yeah.
This other consciousness and awareness and all driven by this and managed by the shaman who are familiar with the drugs and how to use them.
Right.
Absolutely.
How do you say
By the way, an interesting part of the study was that the evolution of singing, drumming, dancing, dramatic displays,
wow.
were all enhanced by the use of the psychotropic drugs.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
It was a communal thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
People
Even the
could share
invention
in
of drums
experiences.
are like, yeah, shared experiences.
Yeah.
And music. I'm hitting the drums, and then they strum a thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And now you're creating music together. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, real quick, one thing that I think everybody at some point in their life should try psilocybin, just because it does open your mind to things that you really can't even explain unless you're done it or are experiencing the effects.
Yeah.
But one of the thoughts I had two thoughts, and I'll explain them really quickly. One of them was, I am just this meaningless little person. My life is a flash in the pan on this little rock floating in this giant, endless, vast space. I'm like, my life is so meaningless. And it was almost like hurtful. Like, I'm like, my life is so meaningless because I'm this little nothing, Oh, I got to go to work and I got to go pay my bill. Like, I'm so meaningless. But then on the flip side, right after I had that thought about how small I am in the universe, I'm like, well, if all I have is 80, 90 years max on this earth, and that's it, and I'm this little insignificant thing, why not make it the dopest, 80 years I can?
Yeah.
So I had this thought of insignificance, which turned into a thought of this flash in the pan. Let's make it the dopest flash in the pan possible.
Yeah.
So it's
I can
really,
see
it's
that.
something everybody should try, I think, at a certain point in their life. In right after developmental years, maybe 20, 21, something like that.
Well, they definitely are studying
and
it.
didn't happen to you, Cam, but the awareness that you're made of the same stuff of the rest of this universe.
Oh, yeah.
That you're part of this.
Literally. It's
There's
insane.
this illusion of separation is an interesting thing.
It's hurtful. Yeah.
They need to do more studies on it. They need to be able to use it safely and prescribe it safely.
What about the fact that, forget the narcotics, this stuff can cure PTSD, dude.
Yeah. That's what they're using.
They're microdosing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing it microdosing people, and it's curing PTSD.
Tons of studies. And we're talking about military encounters. So I heard a story on a Joe Rogan recently.
Sure.
He had a soldier in there that said that a friend of his, he got wounded overseas in battle. And he did suffer from PTSD, but he also couldn't walk without a cane. He was bedridden 5 days a week. And he, the life was drained out of him. And
sure
he
they had-
goes to Mexico to do these ibogaine treatments, which is a psychotropic.
Yeah.
And-
I'm sure he was prescribed 1,000 things.
Right. There's all kinds of things here, of course, that probably cost a fortune.
Yeah, exactly.
He does this one trip to Mexico and does this ibogaine treatment, which is illegal in the United States, ibogaine.
Silly.
And he leaves his cane there. He comes back able to walk, no longer bedridden, able to perform everything he could do before in life. His mental, he's mentally back. PTSD's gone. He's able to live a normal life again, and he's happy.
Well, there's
That's it. One treatment.
Yeah, there was
He can walk again.
It's insane. There was I think lion's mane was illegal for years, and all it does is help brain function and stuff. There's no negative side effect. It's so weird.
Yeah.
They're banning it. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
demonizing of this stuff.
But I think a lot of these studies are helping it come to the forefront. A lot of people are talking about it now, and maybe it will become a part of our normal.
But what about
treatment.
cocaine being 7,000 years ago?
That's wild. Yeah, I had no idea.
Where did you say in South America
That's
somewhere?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They knew
the
every
Andes, yeah.
plant inside and out,
Yeah.
though. I mean,
Of course, and they knew how to use them, what to use them
I
for.
don't even
Absolutely.
understand how they make that.
The civilizations-
It comes from it's
the
insane.
Amazon. Oh my God.
No, those guys are nuts.
They
I
knew
know.
everything.
It comes from a plant, a leaf. But how do you turn that leaf into white powder? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I saw like a behind the scenes documentary
Sure,
about this.
yeah.
I'm sure it's different than the shaman did it, because the way they do it now, they put like paint thinner
It's
and
like
gasoline and all
they
kinds of
didn't have
stuff
that
in
shit.
there.
Yeah, it's
When they
crazy.
mix it up to turn it in, I'm talking about like the fresh stuff they make in South America.
Yeah.
They're using gasoline,
Stuff
and
that
paint
you
thinner
like,
and
you
shit.
can't even do it, or it's too potent.
Yeah,
Like,
it'll
this shit-
kill, well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
poison. There's poison in there. So it's not the same as they used to use it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No.
But
I mean, you could just listen. You can chew coffee beans,
Yeah,
right,
sure,
for caffeine.
sure,
You can chew cocoa leaves and
Yeah.
get a sense of
There
that
you go.
before
Yeah,
you.
that's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
how they used it.
Oh yeah, I'm
Smashed
picturing like
it
a
up.
mortar and pestle type
Yeah.
of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Boil in water, drain the juice.
I know
you
they would
serve
chew
it
them
to your
up when they go
friends.
Les
hunting.
knows exactly how.
Yeah.
Cocktail party.
Yeah.
But no, this idea that you know that our image and our construct of reality is really how the brain fires. And any little thing that alters that doesn't just twist reality. It doesn't change reality at all. It just changes your concept, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's funny.
Interesting.
It's the demonization, and then it's become so socially acceptable to demonize. Even it's like, oh,
And I guess my
LSD,
point was
you're
that
gonna-
here we are.
become a zombie.
Our consciousness was partially created by the consumption of psychotropic drugs,
man.
and so starting in the 60s, we started making them illegal.
Yeah.
I figured, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
And we can see like a clear line from who benefited
Yes,
from
backwards.
that.
100%.
And how we know these studies are showing that these healing properties that these plants have would put so many medications out of business. There would be
yeah.
an ibogaine treatment center on every
Of
corner.
course there would.
Of course.
It has a specific property that eliminates addiction. And this country has one of the worst addiction problems
opioid,
in
yeah.
the world.
Yep.
And this can cure it in a day, but it's illegal.
It has to be illegal. But,
Yeah.
but you know what shouldn't be illegal?
I'm going to go way back to an old book you guys may have heard of or not, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
That's funny. That's
Which,
interesting.
it's a great old book. And the
Love
guy who
that.
rides a bike across country, whatever. But one of the things he said is, so listen, if people want to do psychotropic drugs, why do you make them illegal? Why don't you open clinics and have trained physicians who can manage it and
Yep.
give them controlled environments and let them experience it? Why would you just, put it on a denied list?
They're
It makes no
starting to
sense.
get
'Cause
there
it's
with
stupid.
the marijuana stuff. We see that. They're start-
I've always said legalize it all
But-
and tax it and make sure it's
control it.
safe. Yes. So now you're not having fucking 13-year-old kids dying from fentanyl.
yeah,
It's insane.
And
When they
people
think
making
they're
money
buying-
from this stuff are not
It's
good.
guaranteed, right? It's
groups.
FDA approved.
And literally FDA approved.
Yeah.
Here's your FDA approved
Exactly.
cocaine. Yeah, enjoy.
Anyway, that was my thing for today.
Love
I just
it,
wanna say I
dude.
do have
Yeah, no.
Sparked a good convo.
It's a good topic.
I do have some jokes.
Yeah.
Of course. You goddamn well better. Let's hear it. What's up?
Okay, a couple jokes. Is it a relationship or a hallucination? Either way, I'm seeing someone.
That's great. A black-eyed
You guys know
child.
that- You guys know I'm a schizophrenic, and so am I.
So dumb.
That's good.
Okay. So my wife, she keeps telling me I need anger management. My psychiatrist, he keeps telling me I don't have a wife. I need stronger medication.
That's great. Yeah.
We all can
So
relate.
it's just so weird. I had a breakup with this girl once because she was having hallucinations. She said, Les, I can't see you anymore. I said, well, that's weird. Like, I'm standing right here. I'm right in front of you. And she said, no. You don't understand. I'm seeing someone else, which was really bizarre because it was just the two of us in the room. So I said, that's it. I'm finished.
Yeah.
man."
So you broke up with her?
Yeah, back in the day, you had her committed.
Yeah.
Like, remember when people were allowed to like commit their wives
Oh, yeah.
so that they could
She's
go
a
marry
witch
someone
now.
else?
Yeah. Wait, what? Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got. Always great, guys.
Always a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Yeah,
We'll
thank
talk
you.
Man on the ground,
Good
man on the
combo.
ground.
Good combo.
Signing off from beautiful downtown Burbank.
From beautiful downtown Burbank. That was the news. Thank you, sir. Have a good one, Les. Good stuff. Always the freaking goods from that guy. Let's hear it for him again.
I love the news.
The news is
Good topic.
But Jared,
It's true.
Yeah, you told me something sort of crazy. You said that you have a something for the Marvel Minute.
Dude, I want to talk a little Marvel today. A lot going on. We got the new trailer for Thunderbolts. That movie looks freaking amazing. It's like Winter Soldier 2, the way it feels, right? Like
Which one?
Like Thunderbolts. But my theory for today is about Deadpool Wolverine.
Let's talk.
So I was watching a short on YouTube of one of my favorite scenes in the whole film is when Deadpool's grabbing those wires with the time energy in it,
best.
and he's reaching and he can't reach, and then you see Wolverine grab his arm and he reaches, but he can't reach, and then
I know what you're,
pops the claws.
I know where you're going.
And then the energy goes right through him, and you see his shirt just blows off, right?
And then Deadpool
It's one of the greatest moments in the film because he grabs him, he can't reach, and the claws pop, and then right from that moment, the explosion and the whole energy.
Let me guess it real quick.
Yeah.
Is your theory have anything to do with adamantium having some
properties? So let's check. So let's see, what is that scene actually telling us? Because right before we're told those two are supposed to die from what they're going to go through down there.
It's literally antimatter.
Yeah.
It's gonna
So this time energy that's mixing with that they're going to be putting through their bodies is somehow it's going to kill them, but they survive.
Yeah.
How did they do that? Well, we have a new movie coming out, Brave New World, Captain America, Brave New World, where we're going to get into adamantium. We've seen it in the trailer, and it's going to have special properties like vibranium does. Well, Wolverine has an adamantium skeleton. Yeah. So when he pops his claws and that time energy flows through his body, we see his whole body lights up red. It's like this hot red in his body, right? It happens to Deadpool, but we see his shirt explode. We don't see Deadpool's clothes explode. Yeah. And I think it's because the special property that adamantium has, it helps the flow of the time energy, right? Yes. So he's absorbing that time energy, which keeps them alive. Yeah. So they survive because of this adamantium skeleton and the properties that it has. Mm-hmm. So when we find out these special properties in Brave New World that adamantium has,
from Tiamat,
I think it's going to lead us directly into how they create this time travel technology and how we get to Secret Wars and to Battle World. Yeah. I think adamantium is going to play a big part in that. And I think that scene where they survive it because of the adamantium skeleton is our first clue in adamantium's role in this larger story that we're going to be told. Yeah. I think it can somehow manipulate the time energy itself.
I just heard a theory like similar to this, that adamantium is going to have like these special properties or something. I'm not subscribed to that theory quite yet, but I think, well, I more so don't want that to be the case. I think it's sort of silly. I think,
well, it's a special metal and that works as a conduit for this time energy somehow. And only Wolverine's costume explodes. And it's like he's getting the brunt of this because he's absorbing most of this energy. And I think his skeleton is helping him do that. And I think it's why Deadpool lives. So yeah, I just think that
hey Tina,
we don't get an explanation for how they survived that.
Yeah. I think
we don't get an explanation for why his uniform explodes, and it's a funny scene.
I think they're doing that for
but there's
a gag.
More there.
Yeah,
no, I think
explosion.
I think it's because they're trying to say something with his adamantium skeleton is playing some role here in the time energy.
I don't think so. Maybe that will be the case. I think what they're saying with that scene is
that's the theory.
Deadpool would have died, Wolverine would have died, but if you have both of them, they can survive together. If they both take half of this
that's
energy.
Yeah, that's the most. Yeah, that's the at the base level.
When you
that's
walk
what we're
away,
seeing. Yeah.
That's what you think. Yeah.
But I think because we see his uniform explode and we see like that heat build up inside of him, and we know that that's what makes him different is that skeleton. Yeah. And that adamantium is this new focus for the MCU, starting with Brave New World. It has to have some sort of significance in the future stories that they're going to tell. And so I think that's what it is time energy manipulation.
Yeah, time energy manipulation. Oops. Real quick, Tina coming in with a super. Thank you so much, Tina. She's been here the whole time, everyone.
Thanks, Tina. But yeah, it explains why Wolverine and Deadpool survive. It explains why his uniform explodes and Deadpool's doesn't. It explains a lot about how this adamantium could play a role in this time energy manipulation. It some sort of absorbing factor, or almost works as a conduit for this energy.
But that's like what vibranium is. So it has to be different.
It is. Well, no, vibranium might not have been able to do what adamantium did. That's what I think is going to be the difference, is that adamantium can absorb and manipulate this time energy that vibranium can't.
Specifically like...
Exactly. I think they're going to use it for this larger story to the where Loki is right now. He's at the TVA and he's the god of stories with all this, and he's able to hold these time lines together. Mm-hmm. But we know that eventually Doom is going to use adamantium in some way to create his own world, to create Battle World, to manipulate timelines, and adamantium has to play a role in that technology. And I think that's why. That's what they're telling us with Brave New World, and I think that's what they're trying to tell us when they survive in that moment with the adamantium.
I just want adamantium to be a very rare, very durable, strong substance.
Yeah, but it is rare. It's just that one skeleton.
I don't want it to be a conductor for time, space, and I don't want it. That's so silly.
The technology has to work somehow. There has to be some way to move that energy, harness it, and something has to be able to control
they already have that.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do we know that that's not what it is already?
That it's not like filled with adamantium.
That there's not adamantium. Yeah, in some way.
We don't know
that's
that.
How time space is being used.
Let's hope that's not the case.
Why would that be a problem for you?
Because I like adamantium just being a strong.
But they're making it a main focus of the future of the MCU. It's becoming important, is what I'm saying.
No, I think they're introducing it, which just means we're gonna get for sure like X-Men and stuff like that.
Right, but they're not. That's not the only reason. They're making it the main focus of the film. This special metal that's different than vibranium.
No, I don't think that's going to be the special main focus.
Property.
No,
it is. That's what Brave New World's focus is.
Is it about adamantium?
Yeah, it's about controlling the supply of adamantium. That's
I think it's smart that they're finally.
They're not just introducing it so they can have a Wolverine one day. They're introducing it because it has a larger role to play.
I hope that
in the story.
It's not this.
Why would that be a
problem?
To
that's how
they survived. Is that it worked as a conduit for that type of energy?
And then let's also use it to wrap this guy's bones. It's so stupid.
Because
it's so dumb.
Why would that be dumb? Because it's one of the most durable substances in the world.
So let it.
Put it on a skeleton.
Let it be that.
Yeah, that's the Wolverine story.
Like I don't even like what they did with vibranium and how they made that so versatile.
There is no Wolverine in Brave New World. There's no Wolverine, but there's adamantium.
Yeah.
So it's playing a part in this larger story.
Adamantium is introduced into this universe, and now
for a reason.
Well,
and I think it's because
we're gonna have a character
Celestials
who's in the MCU who's wrapped in it, so we need to have
Celestials
it get
are made of it
to the 616. Yeah.
No,
so I think it's smart to have team made of it.
They're not just introducing adamantium so that one day Wolverine can be in 616. They're doing it because it's going to play a central role in the storytelling.
I hope that's not the case.
But that is.
I hope there's not a movie about adamantium.
It is. That's what Brave New World's about. It's about the control of adamantium.
I have
then
no
you are going to have a hard time with
I already don't care about that movie.
Right.
I already couldn't give a shit.
Okay.
I don't care about Red Hulk. I don't care about Captain America.
You don't like the theory, but
I don't care about.
I'm saying this is probably the case.
From before, I don't. That movie does not look interesting to me.
There's no other reason for them to have survived it, and for Wolverine.
I like where your head's at, and if they're thinking that far ahead and that into it, good for them.
Of course they are.
I hope that's not the case.
That's why they did it. That's why.
I get you.
Yeah, that's why they had the time machine the way it was, and that he needed to be part of that, and they're trying to show that, and that's why Brave New World is focused on the control of adamantium.
Yeah,
because
they don't make
Doom
adamantium
is going to use it.
That anybody gives a fuck about.
Why? It's such a cool idea.
Because it's like they already did it too much with vibranium. I don't care about these.
But now we're done. But we have vibranium. This war between Wakanda.
I hate it. I hate that. Yeah.
No, that's part of the comics. It's part of the. That's part of the story.
But I don't want them to do that again with adamantium. Now let's fight over adamantium and vibranium.
That's what Brave New World is. It's for control of adamantium.
Okay. Well,
why does that matter into the future of the MCU? Yeah. It's not just to make a super soldier one day. They're going to use it for something. They're going to use it probably for creating these new timelines.
Okay.
It's going to be like a conduit of some kind. It's not. It's actually
it can be these dope claws,
setup.
and it's used as a conductor.
Well, no, they only gave him the metal to make him a more durable soldier.
That's great. Yeah.
The metal's isn't used for that. It's used for other things. They just put it in him so that he could be a better killer.
Sure.
That's all. But it's more important than that.
It's a versatile substance, just like vibranium.
Exactly. But they can't get control of vibranium, but they can get control of this. They even chose to make celestials the source of it, meaning the things that create galaxies are made of this substance. So there are some special properties.
I'm hoping,
there.
and then we could end this Marvel 20-minute.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that
your reaction's so extreme to it that's why I think we're continuing the conversation. Because instead of just being like, "Oh, interesting theory," you're like so angry about it for some reason.
No, I'm not angry. I just think it'd be silly if we already have vibranium. It's this versatile.
But we
substance.
don't. Only they have vibranium. This one country, and they won't let anyone else use it.
No, I'm saying.
So we need to further the story.
We, the audience, already have vibranium, and we already know about all this.
Right, but
we don't need another.
They don't use it for
vibranium storyline
manipulation. They don't use it for that, and they never mention it at the TVA. They don't talk about it. But now we're getting a whole movie about adamantium for a reason. I hope that's
not the case.
That's what it's about. The fucking trailer. Watch the trailer.
I've seen the trailer.
It's all about adamantium and the control of it.
They didn't even say adamantium until the most recent trailer.
Right. So now we know that's what it's about. Is the celestial Tiamat? He even says, "Oh, you're helping the South China Sea and getting this, and this is a game changer, and this is everything. It's all coming down to adamantium."
Yeah,
and then we have a movie where they were able to live through the time energy explosion
I get it.
using the metal.
They're going to use adamantium. It's going to be a
two.
big part of it. And
Yeah,
I'm saying
that was just laying the groundwork for this future storytelling.
I understand.
Yeah, the MCU is pretty smart.
Yes, I think that would be a foolish route to go.
Why?
I just said it's redoing vibranium,
it's
dude.
Not.
But it's making it dumber because now
there's always been vibranium and adamantium in the comics. I don't understand your anger with this.
Adamantium has never done that in the comics. That's so stupid.
Never done. No, but it's never been a celestial either in the comics.
Well, I hope it's not.
Was created.
I hope celestials aren't made of that.
We know that's what it's made of. That's where they get it from. You see them mining it in the fucking trailer.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I hope celestials are not made of adamantium.
But they are.
Well, you listen, brother.
But you're saying something that is wrong already. No, because that doesn't make sense.
You're not listening, pal.
Okay.
So I hope celestials aren't made of adamantium. That's so dumb.
But they are. Hoping
you're like a
doesn't
child.
Matter.
You're a child.
No, well, why would you even say that? Because you know that they're mining it.
Okay. So
that's the whole movie.
So I hope celestials aren't made out of adamantium because that's a silly concept.
In what universe? Not in 616? Because it is in 616.
So I hope adamantium is not what celestials are made out of, because that would be silly. That would be childish.
What?
Make it where what she does when she goes and the chick from Eternals, when she touches the thing and whatever she did mixed with them, that's what creates adamantium. That's why it's rare.
They're mining it from the celestial.
Yes.
Right? So it has celestial properties. There's something special about it. It's not, and it's different than.
No, I hope that whatever the celestial is, when she did that and turned him into marble or whatever she turned him into, that mixture of whatever she turned him into and what he's made out of makes it adamantium. So only adamantium's, maybe only his heart is made out of adamantium, or something very rare. It's a small little substance. It's not every celestial's adamantium.
Okay.
I'm saying I hope it's not.
All right.
I hope that her interfering with the celestial is what made
Why does that matter to you?
Like, because I want it to be a scarce substance.
Right, but it is because there's just one dead celestial, so it is scarce.
Well, it's the celestial fit inside the earth. It's a giant being.
Right.
You could mine that for the rest of.
That's what they're hoping to do.
Years.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want
resource.
That. Yeah.
Okay.
I want it to be very scarce.
Yeah.
So this country, you get this.
Well, 616 isn't going to exist at the end of the storyline. You realize that, right? So the adamantium is going to be used for probably time manipulation. This is how we're going to get Battle World. At the end of Battle World, 616 probably will be a completely different thing. And that celestial probably won't be there. There's going to be a new timeline, a new world, new characters, new actors. They're resetting.
Yeah, I don't mind the celestials there. I mean, it's dumb. But
so they're only mining it short term.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want it to be a big storyline. I don't care.
Well, no, adamantium's not the storyline, but it's going to be the major.
I get you.
Storytelling,
like the connective
mechanism.
Tissue.
Yeah,
I get you. Yeah, that's fine
to move the story.
I don't care if that's the case, though.
But I think it's a good theory. I think they've given us enough breadcrumbs.
What just happened?
I don't know. They give us enough breadcrumbs.
Cameras.
To believe that that's where they're going with it. Just with the Wolverine ending and the mining of it, and you just have to those ones. But yeah, I think we got enough. But all right.
Anyway, yeah, I don't like that idea.
You think the channel New Rock Stars talked about vibranium being a conduit for, or adamantium being a conduit for time energy manipulation?
It was one of those channels.
That's pretty cool.
They mentioned the scene you
So
talk
there
about
you
exactly.
go. So that's not a bad endorsement. Those guys are like the Marvel soothsayers.
Oh, they're the shit. No, yeah, they're
Yeah.
great. They're just, I
They
don't
read the
like
tea
that theory.
leaves very well. So I don't know.
Well, they've been wrong so much.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So in watching that scene, that popped into my head. I was like, oh, his body's able to absorb that specific energy, and we know the entire the future of the MCU right now is based around timelines and them universes exploding into each other, and that they need to create a singular timeline again. So now they're going to have access to this metal that they're making a whole movie about. So that it has to play a bigger role in the story. So that's what made me think of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
So if anybody's still watching after
others out there think
all
the
the
same
lights
thing, that's
shut
good.
off and we've been arguing about fucking adamantium that no one cares about.
Yeah, you cared about it enough to argue, so I wanted to continue the discussion.
Yeah, I just think it'd be silly.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, well, it's a weird reaction to say silly, so tell me why.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And now that I did, you think I'm crazy?
no, I just don't know why it's such a issue.
What do you mean such an issue?
Like you took such issue with it. It's just,
I just hope that they don't make it this giant thing. Let it be a small little thing. Anyway.
but it's the main focus of the film.
I hope that's not the case. Yeah. All right. So do you remember Rachel Raygun?
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Why So meme about this chick.
Okay.
Why So meme, bitches?
There she is.
There she is, Rachel Raygun. Dude, she's such a buffoon. It's obnoxious looking at her. It hurts me to even look at her. There she is. All right, Why So meme, guys. So
Yeah.
for this Why So meme, we're doing an update on Rachel freaking Raygun.
Okay.
Who is an obnoxious creature who
She's getting
faked her
worse?
way into the Olympics, and it's getting worse.
Oh no.
Her excuses are insane. Everybody's making excuses for her except real motherfuckers who are just saying she's just bad.
Yeah.
And let her just understand that if we keep letting her gaslight us, she'll never understand that she's just not good. It's not artistry.
She's still
and
like
musicality.
defending herself.
So she believes, and we'll show it. I'm gonna play you an interview. She believes
she has to let it go.
she has to just be like, okay, maybe me, I'm not the greatest break dancer.
No, go on a circuit and break dance against other people where
She's been doing it for
it's
years.
Third party judges that aren't her boyfriend or
She's
whatever.
been doing it for years.
And yeah, and then see if she wins.
And I'm gonna even play you.
And then all the time she
footage
loses.
of.
She'll know.
Well, she's lost a bunch.
Yeah. So
A bunch. She's lost to a 9-year-old girl, and we're gonna talk about
there you
that.
go. Yeah. So,
She's like objectively bad,
yeah.
and it's so clear. And the only thing she won is that Oceania trials, which is the only thing that mattered apparently, because that was a direct qualifier. But she believes she's this amazing break dancer, and we're all so dumb because we don't understand the break community like she does.
Yeah.
Are you moving? All right. All right. So
Wanted to earlier, but I was like talking too much.
that's fine.
Couldn't stop. All right.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna watch some interviews with Rachel Gunn. I'm gonna cut like the last 30 minutes out, by the way. So
Why?
Rachel Gunn, we're gonna
That's
watch.
the show.
That's the show. That's the show. So we're gonna watch her in an interview. We're gonna watch all of her fails. She's not good, and she tells us, all of us, that we're dumb, we're wrong, we don't understand that there's different kinds of breakdancing. There's the power move people,
Okay.
the athletic ones,
Yeah.
and then the other ones, the artist ones, the artistry ones.
Okay.
Like, no, idiot. Only athletic. That's the point of breakdancing.
Yeah, I just
It's-
remember people doing
it's
cool like
power moves, so to speak,
yeah,
quote
or-
unquote.
yeah, it's like gymnastics on the ground.
It's gymnastics, and it's exactly right. It's dancing mixed with gymnastics.
Yeah.
You couldn't be more right. So how are you going to say, take out the gymnastics? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Then you're just doing dancing, but you're trying to dance in a breakdancing style, so you're just flopping around and you look like a fucking idiot.
Right.
And that's what she looks like. And that's what we all saw. And that's what we saw.
And she's still
on
defending
the Olympic stage, still defending it, saying we don't understand. And
she didn't win a medal, right?
She didn't get a single point.
Yeah, she didn't get any points. So
and there
why
are
is
women
she
who
doing
got medals,
right,
for breakdancing at the
so why?
Olympics.
Yeah, so let it go. You didn't win. It's fine.
Because
move on.
We're dumb. We don't understand how breakdancing works. Number one, there's athletic and there's artists.
The judges.
She's the artist. They don't get it, dude. They don't get it. No, they don't get it either.
Oh, she's saying that she should have won.
Well, here's the problem. Another problem is, first of all, she's ranked the number 1 breakdancer in the world, female breakdancer, on the world.
By who?
On the World like Dancing Federation, whatever it's called.
I don't
She's
believe
ranked
that.
number 1.
That's
There's an outrage. There's petitions against it because it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because how could this person who is so bad be ranked number 1? It's because a lot of the competition she lost didn't have points for them. The Olympics aren't pointed. So even the girls who did better than her at the Olympics, who scored any points, they aren't going to get above her. There's only specific events that gather points, and she has like 1,000 points because she won. It's all because that one event, that Oceania trial, the direct qualifier for the Olympics, is the only reason. So let's watch some of these interviews here.
Makes no sense,
dude. Tell me about it.
Give it up, yo! Shout out to Raygun.
So that was her losing.
Do you genuinely think you are the best female breaker in Australia?
Well, I think my record speaks to that.
She believes she's the greatest female breakdancer. That's her losing.
3, 2, 1.
That's her losing again to a 9-year-old.
Give it up, yo! Shout out to Raygun.
I don't know what Maxell is.
She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia.
You be ranked number 1 and you didn't even place. And then you shouldn't have even been on the plane going to France in the first place.
Yeah.
So, when do you say, yo, you know what? This is too much. I can't accept that ranking because, shit was trash. The shit was straight up trash.
The record is there.
No.
Her traditional and powerful technique.
All right, so
when Rachel Gunn took to the breaking arena at the Paris Olympics, she beamed with pride, completely decked out in Aussie green and gold. But her moment in the international spotlight...
And then after we see this, let's see, we're going to watch her versus another girl, and let's see if she gaslit us through this interview as well as she gaslit a lot of
Australia, Raygun.
Viewers questioned why she was chosen.
Yes, Rachel didn't get a point.
You know the one I'm talking about.
The athlete from down under that everyone is talking about and sure to be this year's most popular Halloween costume.
She showed some true Aussie spirit.
Suppose she had a crack.
Raygun had a crack.
How are you feeling since your performance?
Did anyone see the breakdancing lady? It was so funny.
It was very cringy.
Yeah.
She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia.
Obviously hurting it.
I feel sorry for the athlete, and
she's one of the head coaches for the I think the head coach for the breakdancing team.
For her team?
For Australia, yeah. But she's not, because
she has to live with this for the rest of her life, saying those words.
Such a fucking dumb statement.
It's not going to age
statement.
well.
Nope.
It's and then now she shouldn't be in charge of the team.
Nope.
She shouldn't.
All credibility is now lost because if you saw that as an objective viewer, and you are going to say that she's the best that Australia has to offer, when we see Australian breakdancers that are far superior. And I'll show you more in just a moment. It's
happen in our world.
She feels, why are these people attacking me based on falsehood and mistruth?
It's frankly been pretty devastating.
Everybody in the club! Raygun, thanks very much for joining us. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride. I'm not gonna lie.
She comes off so pompous and so arrogant. It's
my ups and downs,
obnoxious.
my good and bad days, but it has been honestly so amazing to see the positive response to my performance. Like, I never thought that I would be able to connect with so many people in such a positive way.
What is she talking about?
That has been just so
Maybe
amazing.
there are weirdos out there telling her a good job.
Like there's 4 people that DM'd her. Oh, you're so amazing.
But that's a joke.
I can well imagine.
They're saying it as a joke.
How
Ironically,
dark did it get for you?
Or they're lying, and like they just, there's people who are obsessed with serial killers. There's just weirdos out there. But
social media, I went off
it's
the
not a lot of
internet.
people.
Yeah,
It's pretty up and down, but it's also just hard to process it all, honestly. Like, it's just still pretty hard to process.
This became such a global storm. How much of it were you aware of?
Not a lot, actually, because as soon as
Annoying.
feelings started to go off socials, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't understand the scale of it, and then I did, preview some comments, and I was like, oh,
You embarrassed
no,
our country. You're not the
this kind
victim.
of sick feeling started.
And she plays the victim. Such confidence with such a weak performance. I know.
What has happened?
The immediate aftermath.
You're not different. You're completely unqualified.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm different. No, you're shit.
Yeah.
Have you got a message for the people who've been writing stuff online, guys?
It must have been unlike
It's like
anything
being bad
you've
at
ever
basketball and
experienced
saying
before.
you're just different at
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
Like a really
No, you're
weird
just not
dream
good
that
at it.
I've been having.
No, you don't get it. No, I don't dribble or shoot in the basket.
Yeah.
But like I'll carry it around. I'll put it in my shirt.
Yeah.
Like I just play different.
Yeah.
No. You're doing
That's
something else then. That's not basketball now.
basketball, yeah.
You've changed it into in some weird thing that is
Go
no
do
longer
interpretive
the
dance.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna watch that.
You know what's great? Yeah, that nobody will ever watch.
Yeah.
You know what's great is, and this makes all the sense in the world. Do you know what her day job is?
No.
She's a teacher at a university, and she teaches like dance theory and shit. Doesn't she look like a professor over a breakdancer?
Yeah, but
She's like this white woman with no
teaching
rhythm.
dance in theory is silly to
Well,
me.
I know. Well, she wrote her thesis.
So it's not physically dancing. We're talking about the act of dancing
and like
just
the
discussing
theory behind it,
That makes-
especially the gender roles.
What?
It's I know it's crazy, but that
That's
was
a
what that was her
class?
thesis was on. Yeah, I know. Poor people who
Can't be
take
a
her fucking class. I
Yeah,
know.
There's no way you get a credit for that.
Yep. So, her thesis paper was on the gender dynamics in breakdancing in Australia.
Right. Trying to hit all the
buttons,
yeah.
all the keywords, yeah. Gender dynamics, yeah, fucking and breakdancing.
So can you dance? No.
Well, no, I can. If you don't get how good I am, that's your fault. But dude, can I dance?
Yeah.
Answer that.
The move everyone does as a joke.
As a joke, when
Yeah.
like they say I'm a good dancer and they pretend that they're a good dancer or something. That's it. That's you do it. And that
Yeah.
you think, and you're telling us that this is artistry and musicality, and that's what you focus on, as opposed to focusing on the, because she explains it, she breaks it down. She's like, there's several different parts to breakdancing. There's athleticism, and there's actual talent, and then there's artistry and musicality. And I focused on the previous two. It's like,
okay.
well,
Yeah.
but those are the least important aspects. It's like, let's take basketball
And it
again.
didn't work.
It's like there's shooting, there's dribbling, and then there's like wiping off your sweat and tying your shoes. I'm really focused on the last two.
Yeah. There you go.
But those are the least important,
Yeah.
sweetheart.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, it didn't work. You
No.
focused on the wrong things.
And you're not good. So I don't do a lot of power moves. You call them what you want.
Why doesn't she believe that she's not good? I don't get that. I don't get defending it. Like that's what I don't get. Like just be like, oh shit.
Because she believes that like when you do this, you're taming the snake. She thinks that's smart, clever, unique. When you're doing
There's
that
a
on
name
stage
for
in
it.
France,
It's
taming
so
the cobra.
stupid.
You don't know the taming the cobra?
No, it's the
When
dumbest
she-
shit I've ever heard.
Whatever it is. Wait, see?
Yeah.
It's not easy, see?
This
And
is
when
so-
she's taming the cobra, she's like, Jared doesn't
She
get it.
did that at the Olympics.
At the on the world stage, bro. Yeah.
It's so bad.
On the world stage. She did that, and then she did the DJ
Yeah.
on the world stage.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to do that.
No,
Do you
it's
understand?
scary. Yeah, that's.
I would be like, I'm not going to ruin my reputation
Not
for the
just
rest
that,
of my life.
it looks like you're like a mentally ill person, or you're doing it to make fun of everyone that takes it seriously.
You know what?
It's like spitting in the face of the sport.
Oh no, literally it is.
Yeah.
And the Olympics aren't going to be in the 2028. Or I'm sorry, breakdance aren't going to be in the 2028 Olympics
Because of her.
Raygun.
Wow.
No, they said before that they're probably not going to do it, but I think this was the nail in the coffin. If breakdancing
That's
slayed,
not fair. They should have taken. They should do it again without her, so that
yes,
they have a chance.
Well, I was gonna say if breakdancing slayed and there was no Rachel Raygun,
yeah,
they probably would have done it again. They
Yeah.
probably, let's bring it back. It fucking killed.
She should take responsibility for that.
Nope.
That now that the sport's not going to be taken seriously.
Nope, it's underfunding
because of her.
It's underfunding in Australia. That's why she's not good. Oh no, not even why she's not good. That's why she's number one, is because no one else is as good as her because they're underfunded. They ask why her as opposed to marginalized communities, because there's a bunch of people who do that. Like you were talking about, they put a piece of fucking cardboard out, and they'll just do it on the street just for fun. I think that was on one of our calls or something. Yeah, you said that, and yeah, you're right. Why weren't one of those people on the stage?
Yeah,
because it was fixed. Because she is a fraud. And she is a fallacy. She's nonsense.
And she got a chance to show everybody that, and everyone reacted the way they should have.
Appropriately.
So
you're a Joe.
I just don't understand defending it.
It's crazy.
It's weird.
It's crazy.
Thing that I'm going to wake up from at any moment. Like, what is life right now?
What about the performance itself? Have you watched that back?
I haven't watched it back, no.
She hasn't watched it.
That's not unusual.
Does that
for
not
me,
speak
though.
volumes?
Great.
Maybe that's why she's defending it. Maybe she didn't fucking see it.
Oh, this is so
She hasn't watched her performance at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she's defending it.
Did she watch the winners? You know what I mean? Like,
if she didn't watch it back, what is she going to skip her part? No, I don't think she watched any of it.
Dude, then how do you get better? Or why? How do you?
She even said
I got
she
0
never
points. Let me see why.
She even says she never watches her shit back. Watch.
At watching back my battles.
Battles?
Well, it's been a month, Rachel.
She used the word battle.
It's still going to take me some time, I think.
No,
I think I've
not
seen
with
little
her.
bits and pieces.
No. Yeah.
But
It's their slayings.
I'll watch it eventually.
You eventually did speak out about the backlash.
So she doesn't watch Jared. Like you said, that's the whole point. That's why you film this shit.
Yeah.
So you have tape so you can watch on your opponents and on yourself to improve. She doesn't watch her shit back.
Yep.
So maybe she actually is delusional and believes she's an amazing breakdancer.
No,
because she's
saying
never
that,
seen
yeah.
herself objectively from the camera's point of view.
And someone told her she had the most points.
Well, dude, I'll show you in a video. Her husband, every move, oh, dude, and
What?
she'll be doing this, right?
So
Oh! And he loses it like she's fucking like
yeah, but
actually
no one
taming
else
a cobra.
could be. There's no way.
Silence.
Yeah.
And bewilderment.
Yeah.
That is all that falls amongst the crowd.
Oh, stop.
Social media post.
I'm glad I was able to bring some joy into your lives. That's what I hoped.
What?
I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate.
What did you have in
Have you
mind
seen it? No.
It was really sad how much hate that it did evoke. And
She's mind blown.
a lot of the
Yeah.
responses, though, is also just due to people not being very familiar with breaking and the diversity of approaches in breaking. And it was so fantastic that the next day, the judging chair, MG, came out and explained that, you know, in the breaking community, what I did actually wasn't very shocking. You know, it's just a different approach in breaking. You have the athletic style breakers, and you also have the more artistic style breakers, and
That's
all
what
of
it
them
is.
are very valid.
Artist,
But,
she's
of
the
course,
artist.
There's been a portion of very angry.
That's art, baby.
and, you
It's
know,
so hard to watch.
awful
Dude, her,
responses.
the whitest white woman with the least amount of fucking groove ever,
Yeah.
trying to be swaggy, is the most cringe.
Yeah, it's like
But
a
it's like
Saturday Night
robotic.
Live bit.
It's bro, literally that chick that was on the Jimmy
Yeah.
Fallon. That's it, dude.
It's a bit. It doesn't look like she's for real.
Like it's
I'm
like
so
it's
surprised.
Sacha Baron Cohen, dude. This is Borat.
Yeah, it's
Borat levels of
which is
cringe.
why
Like there's
I'm
no
saying
way this is real.
Just making fun of the sport is what
It's
it
a
looks
mockery.
like.
It's
Yeah.
a mockery of it. And when you watch her battles, you'll see what a mockery it truly is. So hold on. I need you to hear this one quote of hers. I need you to hear this quote. and then we can move on.
Not only attacking me, but attacking my husband, attacking my crew.
Well, yeah, why do you think that
attacking
is?
the breaking and street.
In explaining what had happened, and he said this.
This one, because it was all new judges.
Well, one of those judges from New Zealand was speaking actually in your defence in explaining what had happened, and he said this.
All us judges talked about how she was going to get smashed, absolutely smashed.
I mean, it's fairly
Speaking in her
stark.
defense.
Did you know it was going to be rough?
Yeah, I knew my chances were slim.
Then what are you doing?
I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Because I knew that I was going to get beaten, and I knew that people were not going to understand my style.
Then do something different. It's like move to move, everything's so labored.
Yeah.
Like there's no fluidity.
Nope.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, wait, I'm doing the worm. Okay, now let's move and let's do the other move. Let's do the tame and the cobra.
Oh.
It's everything's so labored.
Yeah.
And there's
It's
such a
exhausting.
gap. It's exhaustive
Yeah.
to watch. There's a gap in between each move.
Yeah.
There's not like fluidity from this to now I'm on my head.
Because
Oh,
we've
now-
seen like crazy cool
Amazing.
breakdance.
And we'll look at him in just a second. A 9-year-old who
Bring out
slays
some
her.
Australian moves and themes. You know, I
Yeah, like the
love
sprinkler.
our Olympic mascot, BK, the boxing kangaroo, and I wanted to show that. And that's the wonderful thing about breaking. You can take inspiration
It's so bad.
from
It hurts to
any
watch.
source. I had to go with what I was good at.
Tame and the Cobra!
So,
Dude,
you know,
it's
we
so
had,
rough to look at these
in the judging
DJs like
criteria, you've got
"Ooh."
execution, technique, originality, vocabulary, so range and repertoire of movement, and musicality. And so
Hold on, I need
thought
you to hear that again.
judging criteria, you've got execution, technique, originality, vocabulary, so range and repertoire of movement, and musicality. And so I thought I'd focus on these last three, but it just wasn't enough to tip the scales. You know, the odds
To
were
tip the scales.
against
Even
me.
her verbiage
That's
is
for sure.
telling.
The opponent watching is like, what? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like, okay.
Like, oh, she's warming up and then she's gonna do like some crazy.
Yeah, I
but
thought
it
she was
never
gonna, like,
gets there. Yeah.
backflip or something.
Yeah.
No.
Like 20 times in place. Like something crazy.
Yeah, it did seem like a warm.
It's like a build up to
nothing.
and then it's over. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. It's like watching Suicide Squad.
Did I kangaroo?
She blacks out. Did I kangaroo out there? Yeah, great gun. You did it. You did. You kangarooed the hell out of that place. Did I represent BK, the kangaroo, the boxing kangaroo?
Yeah, good
you
job.
did. You did it great. Did I do the taming cobra thing?
That's what the judges
You did it,
really
sweetie.
wanted to see.
Yeah. No backflips. You know how people like get on their head or one hand and they'll freeze in place?
Yeah.
Don't do that. You know what you need to do? You need to pretend you're DJing on the floor. and then wipe across. Do one of these. One.
Yeah.
That's how you win. Okay, that's what I'll do then. I don't know why.
It's just silly.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Behind you.
I can't
You
believe
want it
like,
fair and
people are
square. You're one of theirs.
entertaining.
There was, however, some criticism from that community. I think it's fair to give you the chance to respond to it. So, for example, are quotes from a breaker and a bit of a hip hop legend in Australia called Spice, who says, I feel like it's just pushed our scene in Australia into the dark ages.
Yeah.
It made a mockery of the Australian scene, and I think that's why a lot of us are hurting.
She's
in
like,
hip hop, we have this thing.
These
You
idiots.
step up or you step off. You need to know your place. Is there any merit in those criticisms?
Yeah, look, it is really sad to hear those criticisms, and I am very sorry for the backlash that the community has experienced. But I can't
Are you
control
apologizing?
how people react. Unfortunately,
she
we
can't
just
control
need
reactions.
some more resources in Australia for us to have a chance.
Gaslighting.
To be world champions. Historically, unfortunately, we haven't had
Jared,
a track record.
she did
of
the sprinkler
winning
because
world
lack of funding. Duh, you idiot.
This is the whole thing. Every move is
Everything
so
is
stupid.
it's worse than the last. I know. Okay, one last quote. I just need you to hear it, and
Flail
then
your
and then we're gonna
arms.
watch. We're gonna see if maybe she gaslit us enough, and the audience enough to maybe understand that she is a better breakdancer than anyone else.
Thinking about, to be honest.
Right, sure. Do you genuinely think you are the best female breaker in Australia?
Well, I think my record speaks to that. You know, I was the top-ranked Australian B-girl in 2020 and 2022 and 2023. I've been invited to represent at how many World Championships, Paris, Korea. You know, so
where was that move? I'll take that.
The record is there, but anything can happen in a battle. You know, it's always about what happens on the day. That consistency shows, you know, my level. So
where was that move?
Take me to that closing ceremony.
Even those moves, Jared, I'll take those.
Those are like the beginning moves.
Like before you get into breakdancing, Like if day one you want to learn breakdancing, yeah. You do exactly. You stretch and you do the twizzle dance, exactly. So she, but let's watch. Maybe Jared, maybe we just don't get it. Maybe she actually is as good as she thinks she is.
Maybe we don't get it.
Maybe we don't get it. So you want to watch this video and let's see if we get it.
Yeah.
If we learn.
Okay.
Okay. Let's actually full screen this bad boy. All right. Okay, so there's the 9-year-old girl.
Okay.
I don't see anything unique yet. Garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Seems the crowd doesn't love it either, Jared.
Terrible. Oh,
what is this? Come on. Anybody can spin on their head.
Okay, so she's just getting started.
The crowd is terrified.
Those are the basics.
Yeah. This is starter stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Look at the crowd reacting.
Oh, she started. I didn't know she started.
No, yeah, this is part of her moveset, Jared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very tame.
That's what I do when I wake up first thing.
Even Picard and this gentleman, this basketball player, have an issue.
Yeah.
Finally, she's done.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on you.
Harsh judgment, but I agree with that.
Yeah.
Here comes Raygun, baby.
There we go.
Out of the gate, she's already making history. Okay.
Oh, wait.
That is unique.
Yeah, I could never even try.
Not a million years. I wouldn't try it. I'd hurt myself.
I pull every muscle trying that one.
Shia loves it. Shia's in.
Whoa, and I haven't seen him in years.
He's been off the grid.
Wait. Did she really?
Did you see that, Jared?
She did it.
They're watching in another country, and they are loving what they're seeing out of Raygun.
This is like when the 900 was done for the first time.
Tony Hawk, X Games, I was just thinking that.
Wow. Wait.
Look at these moves.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Is Howie going for the golden buzzer?
Yes.
For Rachel Raygun. They did it.
It makes
Deservedly
sense.
so. Deservedly so.
Oh.
Look at this.
Wait. Did she just...
Jared, look at that finish.
Dude, did you see her wipe her shoulder off?
Talk about a strong finish. All chairs are turning. More chairs turn. And Shania Twain, the golden buzzer also.
Double golden buzzer. That never
I've never
happens.
seen I've never seen the double golden buzzer.
What a magnanimous performer. She gave the little girl a
And they
hug.
give it to the little girl.
Well, you know, she's 9. They want to make her feel good about herself.
But this is professional sport. I don't care about feelings.
Yeah.
This isn't called feelings. It's called breakdancing.
That 9-year-old doesn't have all the points that Raygun has.
Get it.
So the points speak for themselves.
They really do.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't trust Shia LaBeouf and Howie Mandel.
Yeah. 2 golden buzzers. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that in the history of the show.
So that's why she got to the Olympics. I get it now.
It's almost antithetical to the show because if you do 1 golden buzzer, that means no one else has to judge. That you're saying all of us agree, so 2 golden buzzers is sort of redundant and foolish.
Yeah.
But for her, it makes sense.
Yeah, because it's that
No
good.
one else. Yeah.
Both of those judges needed
Now we
to
get
know.
it.
Yeah, that they had her on their side. Yeah.
Because for future endeavors, maybe they want Raygun to promote one of their... Who knows?
Dude, warm up the crowd.
Yeah.
For Howie.
Who knows? So... we talked paranormal, we got into the no sleep, and now we understand why Rachel Raygun is so good.
Yeah, we get it.
We get it.
Yeah,
so
that
we're
battle
a part
proved,
of it.
Yeah, that 9-year-old girl.
She has nothing on the Raygun.
Just give her the win, but the points.
No,
give them to Raygun.
That's what really matters.
Yeah.
And that's what we see, and that's what we all understand. Yeah, absolutely. From Jared, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everybody. I want to know, did you like the scary stories? Do you want to hear more military scary stories in the future? What do you want to see this No Sleep Month? Get ready for a lot of scary stuff this month. It's my favorite. Thanks, everybody in the chat. All the donations, super sweet of you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment. All these things help. Share the video. big deal for us when you do it. So thank you.
Yeah, seriously. Chase Mack, #1 fan, #1 on the charts, #1 on ours.
Yeah.
Great episode. Can't wait for next week's spooky episode. See y'all then. I'm already waiting. Yes, sir. We will see you in next week. So, guys, we appreciate you. We got no sleep month all month. So, all of October is no sleep month. Every episode's going to be spooky themed. Dude, look at this. Are you kidding me? Who else has spider webs and skulls hanging a boot? Okay? And look at this. Oh, a pumpkin? Come on. What does Jared have over there? Look at it. He's got a skull. He's on his phone. He's got a pumpkin. I mean, we're festive, guys. We know what we're doing here. Love the scary stories. October, let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Tina. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week for another No Sleep Month installment. Episode 102, baby.
102.
Very good stuff. Love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you on that flippity flop later. Skater.
Creepy stuff.